Hi guys, welcome back to another exciting video, so sit back, relax, and let's get started. Todoroki-kun. Izuku screamed desperately. His friend had died, saving his life, and that. His expression changed to one of fury as he turned to see Mercuryman. I won't let you get away with it. Without thinking, Izuku charges at Mercuryman. Pyro punch. Izuku attacked with a punch engulfed in fire. Predictable, Mercuryman said, and then used his mirrors to return Izuku's own attack. Offset reflector. Generous mirror. The impact was so strong that Izuku went flying, and what's worse, he crashed into Ada, causing the other boy to crash into the wall and fall unconscious from the impact. Ada-kun. Izuku checks Ada's pulse and sighs in relief to see that he is only unconscious. Damn you. Izuku attacked again with the same attack. However, Mercuryman repeated the same process with his mirrors. The situation repeated itself over and over again. Izuku couldn't think straight as he was blinded by fury. That's why he wasn't realizing that what he was doing was useless. Unknown place. Todoroki opens his eyes. He was in a strange place. He couldn't move. He could only float in the immensity of nothing. Where I am. Am I dead? This is what happens after death. Those are the boy's thoughts. However, a voice interrupts his thoughts. Shoto Todoroki. Shoto tries to search for the origin of the voice but finds nothing. What in the world? Do you want to save your friends? What the hell? What you are? What the hell with that question? Shoto responded to the voice. I just want to help. Now answer. Do you want to save your friends? After thinking about whether or not to answer, Shoto finally decides to answer, yes. What are you willing to do to save them? I will do whatever it takes to not only save my friends, but all the people I care about. The voice was silent for a few seconds. In that case, let me help you. Suddenly a light appears in front of Todoroki, showing a device similar to the ones Shinso and Izuku have, only this one is light blue with white. Without thinking twice, Todoroki takes the device. Real world. Izuku hits a wall. Again, Mercuryman is just playing with him. When he is about to attack again, something stops him, something familiar. Suddenly, Todoroki's body stands up. The wounds caused by Mercuryman are healed and Todoroki regains consciousness. The boy looks confused, but notices that he is holding something in his hand. When he sees what it is, he realizes that it is the same device from that weird encounter. Izuku also notices the device and instantly recognizes it. It's a D-scan. That means Todoroki-kun was chosen by one of the legendary warriors. Seeing Todoroki's confusion, Izuku decides to help him. Todoroki-kun. Do you remember what Shinso-kun and I do to transform ourselves? Todoroki nods. Do it too. No time for explanations. Todoroki still didn't understand anything. But Izuku is right. It's not the time to question things. Raising his right hand, a data wheel appears in said hand. Execute. The D-scan makes contact with the data. Spirit evolution. Data begins to surround Todoroki. Inside the data, Todoroki's clothes were stored inside the D-scan, and that several screens appeared around Todoroki. These screens showed parts of what appeared to be blue and white clothing, in addition to the white ones appearing to be made of white fur, in addition to appearing what appeared to be metallic bracelets, and a mask in the shape of a dragon's head made of ice. Soon each screen joins to form two screens, one behind Todoroki and one in front, each screen showing the full clothing, the front on the front screen and the back on the back screen. In that, both screens begin to approach Todoroki. Once they make contact with him, Todoroki begins to change. Several seconds later, the transformation is complete. The data disappeared, and instead of Todoroki there was Paladramon, a bipedal dragon Digimon with blue skin and red eyes. Its head, limbs, and tail are completely covered in ice with blue claws and metal armbands around its arms along with white bandages around its legs. It also has two ice wings with a blue claw at the end. There is a large white fur covering most of its torso, with three white hexagons on the center of its chest. Interesting. Still doesn't matter. You won't be able to beat me, Mercuryman said. Todoroki-kun. Let's defeat this thing, Izuku said as he landed next to the now ice dragon. Todoroki still didn't understand anything, but it's not the time to ask. He'll find out what happened another moment. Let's go. Ice Age. Todoroki fires an ice beam at Mercuryman, who tries to use his mirrors to return the attack. However, Izuku takes advantage of this to avoid it and make the ice beam hit Mercuryman. Taking advantage of the moment, Izuku decides to attack a stunned Mercuryman. Pyro punch. Finally managing to connect his attack against Mercuryman and sending him flying. However, a wall of ice appears and Mercuryman crashes into it. It is Todoroki who created that wall of ice, quickly closing in on Mercuryman as he prepares another attack. Meteor hail. Tackling the enemy while he is completely covered in ice. Midoriya. Now, Izuku's fists are surrounded by an immense amount of fire. Million Gatling burst. Izuku proceeds to attack Mercuryman multiple times with his fists engulfed in fire and finally finish it off with a pyro punch, effectively sending Mercuryman flying. Outside the alley, the group led by Endeavor has just arrived at the place. However, before they can enter the alley, they see how Mercuryman is thrown and crashes into the building in front. Izuku and Shoto come out of the alley. However, as soon as they land, they both return to their human forms, Shoto because he had just obtained his powers and Izuku because his energy was already extremely low. Frost, divided by Agni. Everyone screamed at the sight of the boys. Ryukyu, after making sure that her intern is all right, observes Mercuryman, another one of those creatures. Where is the hero killer? Mirko asked. Without the boys being able to respond, Mercuryman gets up. Enough. Now I am angry. Prepare to suffer my fury. Mercuryman points one of his mirrors at the group. However, he notices that his body is starting to turn to mud again. How lucky yours. It seems my time is up. Next time you won't catch me off guard. After these words, Mercuryman melts into mud, and from the mud, Stain's unconscious body falls to the ground. That thing was Stain. Nejire screams. However, Izuku and Shoto notice something. Something came out of Stain's body. That thing seems to be a kind of miniature Mercuryman. Izuku recognizes it instantly. It's a digital spirit. Izuku tries to take the spirit. However, a purple mist appears and prevents him from taking the spirit. From that mist appears Shigaraki. Apparently you managed to win. Doesn't matter. My experiment was a success and that's the only thing that interests me. Shigaraki. Endeavor yells as he throws a fireball at Shigaraki. The fireball hits the villain, but when the smoke disappears, instead of Shigaraki there was Duskman. Endeavor spares no expense and prepares a fire punch to hit Shigaraki. However, the villain takes out one of his swords and cuts the hero's chest. The cut was not fatal, but it did leave the hero quite injured. Father, Shoto yelled as he and Izuku stood in front of the fallen hero. Shoto tried to throw a blast of ice at the villain, but to his surprise nothing happened. What? I can't feel my quirk. Shigaraki stares at the student duo, in that he sees Shoto's D-scan. So, there's another one: ice, fire, and light. Interesting in that he takes Stain and charges him over his shoulder and then points his sword in his free hand towards the heroes. It seems that this time you won. But no, the victory is mine even if it doesn't seem like it. You better spread this message all over Japan. The hero killer is part of the villain league, and there will be nothing and no one, not even the chosen ones, that can defeat us. After these words, Shigaraki disappears into the purple mist. After this, a few minutes later the doctors arrived and took all the injured to the hospital. Ida opens his eyes and realizes that he is in the hospital and that a voice calls his attention. Ida-kun, you're awake. It's Izuku, who is in a hospital bed in front of him. Next to him, Todoroki is also seated in a hospital bed. Todoroki-kun, you're alive. Yes, I was lucky. In that, several people enter the room. Manuel, Ryukyu, and a man with a dog's head. They are awake. Perfect, good night. I'm the chief of police, Kenji Tsuragami. So, you are the ones who defeated the hero killer. Woof. Woof, the trio thought. I will be direct with you. While you all did a good deed, one of you did it while breaking the law, Kenji said as he watched it. I don't understand. I thought we had permission to act, Izuku said. Todoroki nodded in agreement. In your case and that of the young Todoroki, it is correct. But the young Ida acted rashly and without the hero who was in charge of him giving him permission. You must understand that if this is made public, your partner will suffer terrible consequences. This made the atmosphere tense. That's why I took the liberty to say that the hero killer's defeat was caused by 2 students only, who had permission to act in an emergency. This surprised the boys. Kenji bows slightly. Congratulations, heroes Agni and Frost. Even if you didn't catch Stain, there's a lot of merit to what you guys did. After this, Kenji leaves. Ryukyu congratulates Izuku while Manuel lightly scolds. How is my father? Todoroki asks. Don't worry, the doctors have already treated him. Apart from a scar on his chest, he will recover without any problem, Ryukyu said. This calms Todoroki down a bit. We leave you to recover. Izuku, you and Todoroki have a medical discharge to leave the hospital tomorrow. Izuku, take tomorrow to rest, and the day after tomorrow we will continue with your training. Todoroki endeavor said to take the rest of your internship resting at home. The doctors won't release him until after the internships are over. After these words, the heroes retire. Well, it could have been worse, Ida said. Congrats, guys. I think it's only fair that I'm out of the wrecks. It's my fault that we got involved with Stain. Don't worry, Ida. As long as you have learned, everything is forgiven, Izuku said. Ida thanks and decides to continue resting a little more. In that, Izuku notices Todoroki deep inside his thoughts. Todoroki-kun, are you alright? This snaps Todoroki out of his thoughts. Yes, it's just that I still can't process everything that happened, but don't worry, I just need to rest a bit. Izuku nods and lays down to get some sleep. Why can't I use my quirk? Maybe it's because I'm tired. I just need to rest. That's all. Tomorrow I'll be able to use it normally. And that he turns to see the D-scan that is on the table next to his bed. I also have to talk to Midoriya about this thing. After this, Todoroki decides to go to sleep as well. Digital space. Todoroki opens his eyes. However, it was nowhere that he recognized. The place was strange. It was a place surrounded by what seemed to be digital data. Columns and rows of data floated around Todoroki. Where am I? Todoroki-kun. A voice called him. It's Izuku, who seems to be in the same place as him, but he seemed to be calmer. Midoriya, do you know where we are? Kind of. If we're where I think we are, you'll get the answers you need. So, you're here too, Midoriya and Todoroki. Shinso appeared next to the boys. If Todoroki is here, that means that he also. That's correct, young Shinso, a voice said. When the boys turn to look, they can see ancient Greymon, ancient Garuruman, and to Izuku and Shinso's surprise, ancient Megatherium. What the heck? What are those things? Shoto asked. You can rest easy, Shoto. Todoroki. We are not going to do you any harm, ancient Greymon said. So, what the hell are you? We are Digimon. Digimon. Ancient Greymon explains to Todoroki what a Digimon is, as well as what happened in the alley at the time of his death. I see, that explains a lot. I guess I have you to thank you, ancient Megatherium. No need, young Todoroki, I only reward you for your display of bravery and sacrifice. I have a question. This thing with the D-scans and Digivolution, does it have anything to do with the fact that I can no longer use my quirk? This question surprises Izuku and draws Shinso's attention. Yes, as of now, you have lost your quirk, ancient Greymon said. This took everyone by surprise. What? What the fuck? What does Digimon and all this have to do with the quirks? Calm down, young Todoroki. That's why we brought you here, to explain what happened, ancient Garuruman said. But so that you can understand the reason why you lost your quirk, we must tell you the story of the true origin of the quirks, ancient Megatherium said. Please do not interrupt. Once the story is over, we will answer all your questions, ancient Greymon said. The boys nodded. The story begins many years ago. In the time before quirks existed, the digital world and the human world were separated. Until one day, an evil Digimon known as Luciman found a way to go to the human world, then decided to invade and destroy it. We, along with the rest of the legendary warriors, fought against him, and in the end, we managed to defeat him, with only 5 of us surviving. However, the destruction and human lives lost were very great. Yggdrasil, our god, never wanted our worlds to come together. So the surviving warriors use our powers to repair all the damage and make humans forget our existence. However, we didn't realize that a little residue of our power, a little bit of data, was left wandering in the human world. This data was absorbed by a human. However, said human was not able to use the data but was able to pass it on to his descendant. That descendant surprised everyone. That baby began to glow. This revelation surprised everyone. The first quirk, so that means, Izuku said. Correct. What you know as a quirk is nothing more than data absorbed by humans and passed on to their descendants. So, the quirkless are people without data, Shinso said. No, you're wrong. If Midoriya didn't have data, he wouldn't be able to use my power. Quirkless people are people with deactivated data. The data inside his body never activated and therefore never woke up a quirk. But that doesn't explain the D-scan and why I lost my quirk. The D-scan uses the data stored within the human body and uses it for transformations. In Midoriya's case, the D-scan activates the data within his body and uses it to write the digital code of my descendants, ancient Greymon explained. In your case, the D-scan uses your quirks. As the quirks are data, the D-scan takes them and rewrites them to host the digital code of ancient Garuruman and mine's descendants, ancient Megatherium said. Wait, they're quirks. In plural. So, Shinso, did you used to have a quirk? Izuku asked. Yes, you lied to me. I am sorry. Before I had the D-scan, everyone painted me as a villain because of my quirk. That's why when I met you, I didn't want to miss my last chance to have a friend, so I lied. I lost my quirk. But I didn't care. I never liked my quirk, sorry. It's okay anyway. That doesn't matter anymore. The 3 of us don't have quirk and now we are the chosen ones. I forgive you. We are still friends. Thank you. By the way, ancient Greymon, about Shigaraki. We know, we are aware of everything. And to answer, no, we have no idea how he has a D-scan nor why he has the spirits of the descendants of our friends. What we do know is that the Digivolutions he does are not the correct ones. What do you mean? Duskman and Velgeman are not the descendants of ancient Sphinxman. Loeman and Jaeger Loeman are the true descendants. You talk as if there was more than one Digivolution, Shinso said. That's right. Our power was divided into 2, into the human spirit, which all of you already possess, and the animal spirit. Then there are more Digivolutions. Correct, just as Agunaman. Labaman and Paladruman are the human spirits of fire, light and ice respectively. Burning Greymon, Kendo Garuruman and Korikakuman are the animal spirits of fire, light and ice respectively. But, unlike the human spirits, you have to unlock the animal spirits on your own. We can't do anything else. I see, and now what will happen to the rest of the legendary warriors? Does Shigaraki have them all? Izuku asked. No, he has 5 of them. Ancient Caseman and Ancient Beetleman are still with us. They just haven't chosen someone to wield their powers yet. Maybe it's because they survived with us. That's good, at least we can have more allies, Shinso said. That is very good. But how are we going to explain to everyone the change in my quirk? I don't think it will go unnoticed that now I also do the same as you, Shoto said. That's a problem. But I'm sure Nezu will know what to do, Izuku said. Nezu? Yes, you see, Nezu is actually a Digimon in disguise, Izuku explained. I see this is getting more and more rare. Chosen ones, it seems that you have a new mission. You must retrieve all of Shigaraki's stolen spirits in addition to finding out how Shigaraki obtained the corrupted D-scan of darkness. Don't worry, we will, Izuku said. Shinso and Todoroki nodded. Thank you. After this, the Digimon disappear, and the boys return to the real world. Villain's hideout. Stain opens his eyes and quickly gets up. Seeing the place, he realizes that he is back in the hideout of the League, and that he turns to see Shigaraki. What the hell was that? Oh, nothing, just a little gift from me to you, Shigaraki said. What is your real goal? We will destroy this world, leaving no trace of it. Stain gives Shigaraki a BLDY look. Shigaraki prepares for anything by taking his D-scan. However, Stain just laughs. Very well, if that's what we're going to do, let's do it. The atmosphere calmed down. Perfect. You better rest. I'll be preparing some things, Shigaraki said as he left the room. At that, Sensei speaks. Looks like your experiment was a success. That's right, Sensei. As long as Mercuryman stays inside Stain's consciousness, he will do what I want without refusing. At the same time that he thinks that's what he wants to do now, all that remains is for Stain to do his job, for his influence to bring more people with us, so we can have more hosts for the rest. I'm glad your plan is working. Now if you'll excuse me, I have to check a few things. Don't worry, Sensei. You can count on me. All for One's hideout. Did you collect the data? Dr. Garaki All for One says. Yes, the analysis indicates that it is possible to transfer a Digimon to the consciousness of a human, even passing that Digimon from one consciousness to another. However, the process appears to be painful in bodies that are not ready for the transfer. The doctor answers. That's why I hand over the corrupted D-scan to Tamura, so that his body is ready for the moment of the transfer. That's right, soon you will have a better body and you will be able to recover all your power, Lord Luciman. A few days had passed, and the internships ended without any other incident. Right now we can see Izuku in the train on the way to UA. At that, a person taps him on the back. Hey, excuse me. Turning around, you can see a boy about 8 or 9 years old. Excuse me, are you Izuku Midori? Why, yeah. Hearing this, stars appeared in the boy's eyes. Mom, look, I told you it's him. These words made Izuku nervous. Who is this child? The mother approaches when listening to her son. Sorry, my son became a fan of yours after seeing you at the sports festival. Imagine when he found out that you were one of the students who faced the hero killer. Izuku was surprised to hear this. He had fans. Can you give me your autograph, please, and a photo? The kid asked. Seeing the boy, Izuku remembered when he was a child and his fanaticism for All Might. That made him smile with nostalgia. Sure. Izuku signs the boy's notebook and proceeds to take a picture with him, after which the boy thanks and leaves with his mother, just in time for the station where Izuku gets off the train. Upon reaching the entrance of the UA, Shinso, Todoroki and Aizawa are present waiting for him. Once he got close to them, Aizawa spoke. Principal's office. Now, I'm aware of what happened. Principal's office. I see, so ancient Megathreman chose you, Todoroki Bakaman said. Why, yes, Bakaman, Nezu Sir, Todoroki said. This certainly causes us problems. At the moment, nobody knows anything. But when Todoroki uses the D-scan, people will start to suspect, especially because of the sudden change in his quirk, Aizawa said. And that you are right. But luckily I have been working on different covers for this. Luckily that Todoroki had an ice quirk and that he was just chosen by the Ice Warrior makes the cover still work, Bakaman said. And what would that cover you mentioned be? Aizawa asked, earning a smirk from Bakaman. Meeting room. Quirk evolution. Midnight asked. That's right. After hearing what happened, I came to the hypothesis that Todoroki's quirk had some kind of evolution. Somehow his quirk reached a change that was necessary to evolve, Nezu explained. But that doesn't explain the transformations present, Mike said. I didn't use the word evolution just because it sounds nice if you haven't forgotten your history classes. Homo sapiens evolved from one ancestor, Homo erectus. I suspect that the forms the boys take are the possible evolutions that are necessary to be able to use their quirks, Nezu said. But evolution took thousands of years to get to where we are today, Toshinori said. That's where the devices come in. D-scan, as the boys named it. Maybe that device forces the evolution in the boys' bodies to adapt to the new strength of their quirks. And how do you explain that young Midoriya and young Shinso have 2 transformations? Evolution is a strange event. You never know which path evolution will take. That's why I think there is more than one transformation. As evolution is unpredictable, I think the D-scan turns them into the possible forms that evolution would take. I see. That makes so much sense. Midnight said. Like I said, this is just a hypothesis. None of us know what's really going on, so I'll make sure to look into the matter, Nezu said. Aizawa-kun, you are the teacher of the 3 students who have this. If something happens that helps us, let me know. Yes, Nezu. All right, now that we've cleared up that point, I have a few suggestions for Class 1A's exam, Nezu continued. Classroom 1A. So, that's what happened. Uraraka said. Todoroki just explained what happened with his quirk, using the same explanation as Nezu. I see. Quirk evolution, it is said. That means that Midoriya-kun and Shinso-kun. Kind of. Our quirks evolved before we woke them up at age 4, Izuku explained. I see. Still, that sounds amazing. I hope mine evolves too. It would be great to transform into something like a fairy or something, Uraraka said. In that, the door opens and Aizawa enters the classroom. Upon entering, everyone was in their respective quiet places, sitting and in silence. Good, Aizawa said. Let's see, summer vacation is close, but none of you will be able to rest during these 30 days. Everyone tensed up for this. We will go camping in the woods during the holidays. After this announcement, everyone was excited. However, a look from Aizawa made them shut up. However, if someone fails the final exams, they will stay in school and have remedial classes. Everyone, do your best. Kirishima shouted to motivate everyone. Now, I think you have a hero lesson with All Might, Aizawa said while everyone grabs their suitcase. After this, everyone got ready and went to the place where All Might was waiting. Everyone was in their hero costume, except for Ida. His costume was being repaired. Today we are having a rescue lesson. Form 3 groups of 5 people and 1 of 4. When I give the distress signal, team members will enter from outside the zone. This will be a competition to see who can rescue me first. The group of Shiro, Mina, Ida, Ajiro and Izuku was first. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but just so you know, Izuku won the competition. Using Agunimen, he beat everyone in speed and get there first. The rest of the competitions occurred without any incident. Todoroki, Bakugo and Shinzo also won their respective competition. Despite only having 4 winners, you all have improved since entering the academy. Keep it up and get ready for the final exams. After these words, All Might runs away. It doesn't seem strange to them that whenever we finish classes with him, he runs away in a hurry, Shinzo said. His friends nodded in agreement. Classroom 1A. I didn't study at all, screamed Mina and Kaminari. I couldn't study because of the sports festival and the internship, said Kaminari. Ashido-san, Kaminari-kun, we have to try harder, said Izuku, so we can all go to camp. It's easy for you to say, you're in the top ranks, Kaminari said. If you have so many problems, I can help you, Momo said. I don't know about them, but I need help with fractions, Gyro said. I need help with Spanish, Zero said. Yes, me too, Mina said. Please, Yaorazu. Help me too, Kaminari said. Please, Yaorazu, help us, they all said in unison. This excited Momo. Of course, we can all meet at my house, she said. Yaorazu will help with studies. Now that I think about it, I need help too. Maybe I should ask her for help, Kirishima said. I can teach you better than her, Bakugo said. Sure, what could go wrong? Cafeteria. Apparently it will be a synthesis of everything seen so far, said Ida. That's what Aizawa-sensei said. The rest will be basic training, said Uraraka. Studying for the exam and keeping our physical condition to perfection. Izuku said he was going to continue, but something, or rather someone, interrupted him. Midoriya, I found you. It was Nejire, who was heading towards Izuku along with 2 other people. The first one is a tall young man with rather pale skin. His ears are longer than most. Their tips pointy and somewhat elf-like. He has messy, indigo hair, which sticks out behind his head, and thin, tired-looking eyes, partially covered by his bangs despite the fact that they're supposed to be split as to not impair his vision. The other one is a tall young man with a very muscular build who possesses a number of noticeable scars around his lower arms. He has blue oval-shaped eyes with no visible sclere, and nose which is prominently rounder than most others. He has blonde hair, the top part of which is arranged in a cowlick, while the bottom section is worn swept backward. Hado-senpai, Izuku said. You know her? Shinzo asked. Why, yeah, she was interning with Ryukyu when I did my internship with her. Her name is Nejire Hado, and she is a 3rd year, Izuku explained. Nejire approached Izuku and his friends. I finally found you, Midoriya. Hado-senpai, what brings you here? Izuku asked. Don't you remember? I told you I'd introduce you to my friends, Nejire said and then pointed at the pale boy. This guy here is Tamaki Amajiki. She then points at the blonde boy. This here is Tagata Mirio. Nice to meet you, Mirio said with a big smile while Tamaki just waved. So you are that Midoriya that Nejire told us about? Why, yeah, I guess you guys are the ones Nejire mentioned. The big 3, Izuku said. That's correct from what Nejire told us. You are quite strong. We should face each other one day, Mirio said. As sure, Izuku said. And that, Izuku turns to see his friends with faces of confusion. As sorry guys, they are my friends, Hitoshi Shino, Shoto Todoroki, Ochako Uraraka and Tenya Ida. Izuku introduced his friends. It is a pleasure to meet our seniors, Ida said. So, tell me, what are you doing? Nejire said. We're just thinking what our practical test could be, Izuku said. Oh, that. If I remember correctly, our practical exam was to face robots, Nira said. Robots. I see, though I think knowing this would be cheating, Ida said. I don't think so. At the end of the day we are obtaining information on our own, Shinzo said. They are an interesting group, Mirio said. Suddenly, for a second, he turned to look in one direction. It was nice meeting you, but I just remembered that I need to do something. See you another day. And Midoriya, I'm ready to face you whenever you want. Sure, when our exams are over, I'll make sure to look for you, Izuku said. Mirio gives a smile and leaves. Strange, he's been busier than usual lately, Nejire said. Hey, do you mind if we sit down with you? Go ahead. It will be interesting to meet our seniors, it is said. The rest nodded in agreement. The days passed quickly for some and very slowly for others. The written exams passed, and so the day of the practical exam arrived. Everyone was in their hero costume, but they were surprised by the number of pro heroes that were there. There's a lot of teachers, said Gyro. I found out that some people found out what the exam is about, so we decided to change it, said the principal, who emerged from Eraserhead's capture weapon. You will pair up to fight one of the teachers. Against the teachers. Correct. There will be a total of 9 teams. 8 of them will be in pairs and 1 in thirds, due to the lack of a student in the group. For example, Bakugo and Yaoyorozu are facing me, Eraserhead explained. The team of 3 will be made up of Midoriya, Shinso, and Todoroki and will face, he said, but was interrupted by someone. Me, said All Might. All 9 teams will start on their respective stages at the same time. The test will be explained to them by the teacher with whom they will fight. Time is precious, so make your way to your buses. They all got on their respective buses and went to the place of their tests. The fights are about to start. Suyu Asui and Fumikage Takoyami versus Ectoplasm. Both teenagers worked together incredibly well. Their tactic was to use their abilities to escape, however Ectoplasm managed to catch them and ruin their plan luckily. Using Tsuyu's ability to store things in her stomach and Dark Shadow, they managed to trick Ectoplasm and capture him. Ijiro Kirishima and Rikido Sato versus Cementos. The fight was long, but not because the boys gave the teacher a lot of fight, but because the boys tried a direct attack tactic. However, Cementos created several barriers which were destroyed by the boys, but said barriers were created faster than what were destroyed in the end. Both boys failed to get past the teacher's defenses and failed the exam. Mashurao Ajiro and Tenya Ida versus Power Loader. This battle was fast. Power Loader had the field controlled thanks to his quirk. However, thanks to his Recipro Burst, Ida manages to throw Ajiro with the necessary force to avoid touching the ground and reach the exit. Kyoka Gyro and Hantasiro versus Present Mike. At first, both students had trouble facing Present Mike, as he was keeping them away with his quirk. However, in the end they managed to coordinate with Gyro distracting Present Mike while Siro managed to capture the hero. Ochako Uraraka and Yuuga Aoyama versus 13. Uraraka and Aoyama were clinging to a railing so as not to be sucked into 13's technique. This is bad. If we let go we can die, said Aoyama in a worried tone. Weirdly enough, his face wasn't worried at all. Come on, think. What would Deku-kun do right now? Uraraka thought. Are you thinking about what Midoriya would do at a time like this? Do you like him? This question made Uraraka blush, and she inadvertently let go of the railing, realizing this. 13 deactivates her quirk, and quickly Uraraka uses what she learned with Gunhead to immobilize the hero and with some help from Aoyama, capture her. Denki Kaminari and Mina Ashido versus the principal. The battle, if you can call it that, was totally dominated by Nezu. Using his intelligence, he managed to make Mina and Denki unable to do anything until the time was up, failing the exam. Toru Hagakure and Mizo Shoji versus Snipe. The battle was fast. Shoji served as bait to distract Snipe while Hagakure, thanks to her invisibility, approached Snipe and captured him. Katsuki Bakugo and Momo Yaoyorozu versus Eraserhead. Bakugo and Momo were in an alley. All right, Ponytail, do you have any plan? Bakugo asked. Why do you ask me? Momo said. Bakugo growls at this response, because, although I hate to admit it, you are the smartest among the whole group. I see. Still, I don't think any of my plans will work. What the FCK are you talking about? Don't you remember? I lost in a humiliating way against Takoyami and my internship was a waste of time. I don't think I'm useful for anything. And this is it. Just for that you give up. How pathetic, Bakugo said. Everybody can lose from time to time. The only exception is All Might. You had bad experiences in your internship. Who cares? Use that experience to know what not to do. If you give up just because of that, then you don't deserve to be a hero. Those words made Momo sad. Aye. Whatever, just start creating shit with your quirk. If it stops, it means Eraserhead is nearby. Oh okay, Momo, start creating things as both students start walking towards the exit. After several minutes of walking, Momo feels her quirk stop working. The Bakugo. My quirk. From the edge of his eyes, Bakugo could see Eraserhead approaching. Shit. Get out of the way, Bakugo said as he pushed Momo out of the way. Bakugo tries to charge at Eraserhead with his explosions. However, the hero deactivates Bakugo's quirk and captures him with his bandages. Shit. Ponytail, get the FCK out of here. Hearing this, Momo flees the area towards the exit. To her surprise, Eraserhead doesn't chase her. So, that's your plan, Eraserhead? You are the bait as she escapes, knowing that is unlikely to let you go. Of course not. I was hoping that Ponytail would do something. That girl is depressed for losing to Blackbird, and you didn't help her. I told her what was necessary. I'm not a fucking psychologist also. She should figure it out for herself. If she's not capable of that, maybe she shouldn't have entered the hero course. You are helping someone in your own way. You have changed, Bakugo, in a good way. Momo is about to reach the exit. However, she stops. Memories of her conversation with Bakugo make her stop. Because, although I hate to admit it, you are the smartest among the whole group. It's true, she always stood out for being very intelligent. And this is it. Just for that you give up. How pathetic. That memory hurt her, but Bakugo was right. Everybody can lose from time to time. The only exception is All Might. That's true, every hero has bad times. You had bad experiences in your internship, who cares? Use that experience to know what not to do. Words also full of truth. After all, everyone can have bad experiences. In addition to bad experiences, you can also learn. If you give up just because of that, then you don't deserve to be a hero. It's true, she can't give up. She will become a hero, and no one can help it. Thanks, Bakugo. You may be a bit harsh with your words, but you're right, I'm not going to give up. Hang on, I'm coming to help you. Meanwhile, Eraserhead still had Bakugo prisoner, and that two Matryoshka dolls fall in front of Aizawa. When they open, it is revealed that each one has smoke bombs. Just at that moment, they explode, covering Eraserhead with smoke. Taking advantage of Eraserhead's inability to see him, Bakugo uses his explosions to free himself from Eraserhead's capture weapon. Bakugo. Momo calls out to him from a distance. Bakugo uses his explosions to go towards her. They both walk away from the place and hide. You're back, so you're not as pathetic as I thought, Bakugo said. Yes, your words were strong, but you were right. Don't thank me yet. Thank me when we pass this exam, Bakugo said with a smirk, which made Momo smirk as well. Bakugo quickly checks and notes that they are safe from Eraserhead. At least for now. All right, Ponytail. Do you have any claw? When Bakugo turns around, he can see Momo turned away from him with her suit open in front as she creates something akin to Eraserhead's capture weapon. Bakugo quickly turns around with a slight blush on his face. What is that shit? It looks like the shit that Eraserhead uses to capture, Bakugo said. Meanwhile, in his mind, they are bigger than they look. That's right, it's just that these are made of a special alloy that hardens when heated. I think that gives you an idea of what I'm planning. Hearing this, Bakugo smirks. Eraserhead is looking for his opponents, and that he manages to see a blanket with two lumps walking towards the exit. They cover up so I can't use my quirk on them, but it won't do. Eraserhead uses her blindfolds to capture the duo. However, that was a distraction. Momo, who was using mannequins to pretend to be Bakugo and her, was waiting under the blanket with a catapult loaded with her creation. Momo activates the catapult and the bandages trap Aizawa. Bakugo. Now, she said. Bakugo appears behind Eraserhead's back. Die. He screams and then releases a large explosion. The heat of the explosion makes the bandages harden and Eraserhead unable to move, after which Momo proceeds to place the handcuffs on her opponent. The Bakugo Yaoyorozu team passes, said the announcement. Bakugo smirks and proceeds to leave, however Momo stops him. Bakugo. Wait. She stops him. I just wanted to thank you for your words. They may have been a bit aggressive, but it still helped me a lot. Whatever, next time don't try to get me to help you. Don't worry, there won't be a next time. You know, you were pretty obnoxious and rude at first, but I think you've changed a bit. For the better. You are still somewhat unpleasant and rude, but you can also be seen to be somewhat more friendly and willing to help others. Bakugo just shrugs. Whatever, those were his words as he left. However, his mind remembers what made him start to change a bit. Flashback. After the sports festival, Bakugo and Izuku are face to face. They were both looking at each other and Bakugo is getting impatient. Damn it, Deku, say something. Where the hell did you get that quirk from? Izuku knew this was coming. I don't know. Yeah, fuck. Don't say stupid things. Well, it's the truth. I don't know. A few months before the UA entrance exam, I was attacked by a villain. At that moment, this device appeared, and I was able to transform. That's all. I have nothing more to say. I don't know very well what happened either. Let's say I believe you, which I don't. So why the fuck didn't you tell me you got a quirk? You ask why. Do you think I would tell you, after everything you put me through? Of all the times you bullied me, that you attacked me and hurt me, think why I never told you anything. Because you didn't deserve it. After those words, Izuku leaves, leaving a stunned Bakugo behind. Bakugo clenched his fists after that memory. Izuku, Midoriya, Hitoshi, Shinso, and Shoto Todoroki versus All Might. Izuku, Shinso, and Todoroki are at the entrance, ready to pass the exam, or at least that's what they seem. We are facing All Might. Izuku couldn't think because of his nerves. Do you want to calm down for a second? Shinso tried to calm his friend down. I think we should have started long ago. Todoroki was being ignored by the other two. Meanwhile, with All Might, he was waiting. It seems they are hiding. It's okay. I'll make sure they come out of hiding. Detroit smash. With one punch, All Might destroys the entire city, or at least most of it. After this, All Might manages to see the trio still at the entrance. This time with scared and surprised faces when seeing the destruction. I found you, heroes. Oh no. Quick, we have to transform, Izuku said. The trio, after those words, take out their D-scans and prepare to transform. Execute. The trio said in unison, a data wheel appearing in each of the boys' right hands. Spirit evolution. The D-scans make contact with the data, and it surrounds each boy. After several seconds, the transformations were complete. Agunaman, divided by Loboman, divided by Paladruman. Let's go. Izuku ordered. The trio charged against All Might, who was ready to receive them. Izuku tries to land a blow. However, All Might takes a step back and Izuku collides with Shinso, who also tried to attack All Might. Shoto uses his ice wings to lift himself up, Ice Age, and fires an ice beam at All Might. However, the hero takes both Izuku and Shinso, who were still stunned, and uses Shinso as a shield against the attack and throws Izuku at Shoto at a high speed which the boy cannot dodge. Izuku and Shoto fall to the ground, and All Might throws Shinso next to them. The trio get up. That didn't go well, Todoroki said. No shit if you don't tell me. I don't realize it, Shinso said sarcastically. Guys, focus. Izuku tried to calm things down. If we don't win or we manage to escape, we will fail the exam. Right? Sorry, Shinso said. All right, let's try again, Izuku said. Let's go. This time the three of them charged at All Might, each preparing an attack. Crimson Knuckle, divided by Running Meteor, divided by Meteor Hail. Seeing this, All Might dodges Izuku's attack, letting the rest happen by itself. By dodging Izuku, he gets in the middle of the path of Shinso's attack, which hits him and sends him flying. Shinso, seeing this, cannot react and is accidentally hit from behind by Todoroki's attack, who after doing this receives a punch in the stomach by All Might. Haha, you three are strong, but your teamwork is so bad, All Might said to later dodge a pyro punch from Izuku, which accidentally hits Todoroki, who tried to charge at All Might at that moment. What am I going to do with you? All Might said before hitting Izuku in the stomach with a smash and sending him flying next to Todoroki. Finally, he avoids an attack from Shinso, and from another smash he sends him towards the other two, crashing against them. The first to get up is Izuku, who upon seeing the situation, pyro darts fires several fire darts, but not at All Might, but at the ground, creating a smoke screen and taking Shinso and Todoroki to safety. Izuku leads Shinso and Todoroki through some rubble and they hide. Okay, something is definitely not working, Izuku said. Sure, you guys are getting in the way of my attacks, Shinso said. Us? You literally got in the way of all my attacks, Todoroki said. Bae, it's not my fault you can't aim well, Shinso said. That's it. After these words, Shinso and Todoroki begin to struggle with each other. Hey, that's enough. Cut it out, Izuku yelled. This yell made Shinso and Todoroki stop fighting. Let's not waste our strength, pointing fingers. We are obviously doing something wrong. It is not obvious. Our teamwork sucks, Shinso said. I don't understand how we could work well as a team in combat training and do it horribly here. Shinso's words made Izuku realize what is happening. It's because in training matches, we didn't work as a team. If you remember, we split up to face our targets individually. We are doing the same thing now. We are attacking as if we were in a one-on-one. We do not take into account the others who are also attacking. So we are uncoordinated, and we hinder each other. We must start thinking as a group, not as individuals, Izuku said. Makes sense, but do you think it would work? Shinso asked. Yes, we cannot say that we know each other perfectly to be able to coordinate. We don't, but our digital forms do. In the same way that we use our attacks and movements, we must let our instincts help us. The ancients worked as a team. We must have in our digital memory those ways of fighting, Izuku said. I guess we have nothing to lose by trying, Shinso said. You're right, we just need to immobilize All Might so we can escape, Todoroki said. Let's do it, Izuku said. The other two nodded in agreement. Meanwhile, All Might was waiting. He knew that the boys would try to attack him again, so he decided to wait his suspicions turned out to be true. The three boys landed in front of him. You couldn't live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me, All Might said. This time it will be different, Shinso-kun. Todoroki-kun, let's go, Izuku ordered. The three boys charged All Might again. Todoroki stops dead while Izuku and Shinso continue. Once in front of All Might, he tries to hit them. However, the boys avoid the blow and position themselves on both sides of All Might. Crimson Knuckle, divided by Lobo Kendo, licked Victor Alpha. Both boys attack. However, All Might easily stops the attacks with his arms. However, this is what the boys wanted. He has been exposed. Meteor Hail. All Might feels a pain in his stomach. Todoroki attacked him in the stomach, taking advantage of the fact that he was exposed and could not defend himself. This attack was strong enough to make All Might take a few steps back. Shinso-kun, Izuku said. They both jumped and positioned themselves on top of All Might. Combined attack. Shining Burn Slash. The two yelled in unison. Izuku surrounds All Might with a fire dragon. Shinso takes advantage of this to slash with his swords, causing fire and light to hit All Might. Ice Age. Todoroki takes advantage of All Might being knocked down by the attack to freeze him to the ground. We caught him, but not for long. It's time to go, Izuku said. The trio began to run in the direction of the exit. All Might frees himself from the ice and tries to go towards the boys, but a pain in his stomach stops him and he begins to cough, realizing that he is coughing up BLD. All Might knows that he has been defeated. It only took a few attacks for them to make me tired. Well, I'm not using all my power either. Even so, this quirk evolution is very interesting. Unable to do anything else, All Might watches as the boys cross the exit. The Shinso Todoroki Midoriya team passes, said the announcement. All the confrontations concluded. And these were the results. Kyoka Gyro and Hantasiro both passed via capture. Toru Hagakure and Mizo Shoji both passed via capture. Momo Yaoyorozu and Katsuki Bakugo both passed via capture. Ochako Uraraka and Yuuga Aoyama both passed via capture. Denki Kaminari and Mina Ashido both failed. Tsuyu Asui and Fumikage Takoyami both passed via capture. Ijiro Kirishima and Rikido Sato both failed. Mashurao Ajiro and Tenya Ida both passed via escape. Hitoshi Shinso, Shoto Todoroki and Izuku Midoriya both passed via escape. The next day, Aizawa entered to the classroom, which was surprisingly quiet. Good morning. Now we will talk about the final exam. It's a shame, but some of you failed, so we're all going to camp. This cheered everyone up. No one failed the theory exam. And only Kirishima, Sato, Ashido, and Kaminari failed the practical exam, and that's why the 4 of you will be taking remedial courses during camp. Well, at least we are all going to camp, said Kirishima. I have an idea, said Mina. Since we rest tomorrow, all of us in class could go shopping. That's a great idea, said Kaminari. Yes, hey Bakugo, will you come too? Asked Kirishima. Whatever, I just hope it's not boring. Surprisingly, Bakugo accepted. Will you come too, Todoroki-kun? Izuku asked. Sure, I have some free time, Todoroki said. In that case, it's decided. Class goes shopping, Mina said. Villain's hideout. Shigaraki was going over his plans while Kurogiri was just cleaning some glasses and Stain was in the bathroom, and that a man enters the place. Jiren, Shigaraki said. What do you want? Jiren is a middle-aged man of moderate height and slight build, with eyebrows that appear to be drawn up most of the time and notably squinted-looking pink eyes. He has short gray hair worn parted to his right with side bangs hanging above his eyes, along with a small mustache and a goatee on his chin. And one of his front teeth seems to be missing, leaving a gap in his grin. He wears a pair of dress pants and a matching blazer, along with plain black shoes and a shirt which he leaves partially unbuttoned. At the top he has a thick, golden tube-like necklace around his neck that appears to be made up of multiple segments, sometimes along with a fluffy scarf that resembles intestines in shape and color, also sporting a pair of circular glasses on his face. Oh, nothing. I just brought you some potential recruits. When Jiren said this, 2 people entered the place. The first one is a fairly tall, pale young man of a slim, somewhat lanky build. Described to be in his early 20s, he has black hair hanging low over his eyes, which are thin, turquoise in color, and heavily lidded. His most striking features are undoubtedly the patches of gnarled, wrinkled, purple skin that cover much of his lower face and neck, all the way down past his collarbone, below his eyes, around his torso, and on his arms and legs he wears a plain pale gray, scoop neck shirt, below which a gray belt with a circular pattern wraps around his waist, a leather satchel attached at the back. The other is a relatively petite, fair-skinned girl who is very prone to blushing and is frequently described as to having a rather pretty face. She has slightly inward-tilting bright yellow eyes with thin slits, making them somewhat resemble those of a cat, and her wide mouth is also rather feline, as both her upper and lower canines are more pointed and longer than the rest of her teeth, giving her a vampire-like appearance. Her hair is a pale, dirty ash blonde and is styled into 2 messy buns, with numerous wild strands sticking out at all angles from their centers and where they're fastened, a straight fringe and 2 chin-length side bangs to frame her face. Her outfit consists of a plain seifuku with a kansai collar, both the skirt and the shirt dark blue with a double white trim, which is paired with a red scarf that she ties loosely below over this. She wears an oversized beige cardigan with a rather long hem and cuffs, and pockets on either side, the right one shown to hold a number of trinkets on either a keychain or a cell phone strap. She sports knee-length black socks and dark brown dress shoes with thick heels, the same as the outdoor uniform shoes students traditionally wear in Japanese schools. Interesting. Who are you? Shigaraki asked. I'm Himeko Toga. Living is difficult. I want a world where it is easy to live. I want to be like Stain-sama. He is part of this team, so let me join Tamura-kun, the girl said. It seems that she is crazy. It is perfect for her, Shigaraki thought. And you? Shigaraki asked to the other boy. At the moment my name is Dabai. My real name I will tell you when the time is right. I heard that the hero killer is part of this group. I want to know if it's true. After saying this, Satin enters the room, surprising and exciting the recruits. Who are these people? He asked. New members, Shigaraki said. I see that it is true. In that case let me join, Dabai said. And here we have another. He is calmer. It will be perfect for him, Shigaraki thought. In this case, let me welcome you to the Villain League. After that, Shigaraki points his D-scan towards the recruits. Let me give you your welcome gift. Only the first 3 to join after staying get it. So congratulations. After that, dark bolts came out of Tamura's D-scan and hit Dabai and Toga. Both of them start screaming in pain while the rest of the league just watched in silence. Afternoon Midoriya residence. Izuku was resting. His outing to the mall with his friends was fun. Everyone had a good time and there were no incidents. Having friends and going out with them is awesome. Izuku thought. This was the first time he went out with friends and that his phone rings. The number was unknown. Izuku decides to answer. Hello. Good afternoon. I'm talking about the Kamishiro Company. Is this Izuku Midoriya's number? Kamishiro Company. Aren't they the main investors of the island? Getting into confidence, Izuku continues. Yes, that's right. I'm Izuku Midoriya. Amazing. I'm contacting you as we want to invite you to Expo for winning the sports festival. You don't have to worry about the cost of travel and accommodation. We'll take care of that. What? Do you want me to go to the Expo? That's right. You can also bring a guest if you like. I see. Thanks for the invitation. Of course I want to go. I'd be a fool to turn down an invitation like this. Perfect. We'll mail you your round-trip tickets. Thank you very much. The pleasure is ours. We will be waiting for you alone, or if you decide to bring someone else. Have a nice day. After this, the person on the phone hangs up. After processing what happened, Izuku does the only logical thing in a situation like this. I'm going to Island. Scream like crazy. Attention all passengers. The plane is about to land on Island. The pilot of the plane announced. We are here. Island. I'm very excited. How about you, Shinso-kun? Izuku asked his friend, who is accompanying him. I am also very excited. Thank you for inviting me, Shinso said as he remembered when Izuku invited him to Island. Flashback. A few days ago, Izuku contacted his friends to meet him. The only one who couldn't attend was Uraraka. He wanted to see us, Midoriya. Todoroki asked. Yes, the Kamishiro Company contacted me and invited me to the Island. Wow, how lucky you are, but that doesn't explain why you didn't call, Shinso said. Kamishiro said I could invite someone. At first I wanted to bring my mom, but she told me I'd better invite a friend, but I couldn't decide between the four of you, although Uraraka-san couldn't come. I see it's a very kind gesture of you, Midoriya. But don't worry about me, my family was invited too, so I'll go too, Ada said. Same here, my father was invited, but he's still not fully recovered from Hasu. That's why he asked me to go in his place to represent him, Todoroki said. So, Ada-kun and Todoroki-kun will also go. That means that the one I will bring with me is Shinso-kun, Izuku said. Are you sure, Midoriya? Shinso asked. Of course, like I said, my mom said it's better if I invite a friend. In that case, I accept your invitation. Thank you. I can't believe I'm about to get to Island, Shinso said. Neither do I, Izuku said. After this conversation, the plane lands on the island, and after passing the security, the duo finally arrived at the Expo. At last, the Expo, Izuku said. If I'm not mistaken, there will also be a party for industry guests in a couple of days. Luckily, we are also invited, Shinso said. We should go to the hotel to leave our things. Then we can visit the rest of the Expo, Izuku said while looking at the map. Once at the hotel, Izuku approaches the reception. Excuse me, I'm Izuku Midoriya. I have a reservation at this hotel from the Kamishiro Company. After searching the computer, the receptionist responds with a smile. Here it is, room for 2, deluxe, here you go. Your room is on the 4th floor. Welcome to the Island. I hope you enjoy your stay, the receptionist said as she handed Izuku his room key. After arriving at their room, Izuku and Shinso are surprised to see the size and luxury of it. Wow, it's as big as my apartment. I know they said it's a deluxe room, but I didn't think it was that big, Izuku said in awe. And it's a room with 2 beds. Those of Kamishiro do know how to do things, Shinso said in awe. Let's change into our hero outfits. Kamishiro's invitation mentions that we must be in our hero outfits during our stay, except for the party, which is informal wear, Izuku said. After changing, both left the hotel. Where do you want to go? For my part, I want to visit the exhibition where they show several of the equipment of the heroes that were built here, Izuku said as he pointed at a building. I wanted to go to the combat simulator or the stadium where a robot destroying competition is taking place, Shinso said. What do you think if we separate and each one visits what they want? At lunchtime we get together to decide what to eat, Izuku suggested. Sounds good to me, but what about Ada and Todoroki? They are here too, right? Shinso said. If we cross paths we invite them. It's a big place so I don't know where they can be, Izuku said. Okay, see you later then, Shinso said as he looks in the direction of what appears to be a stadium. Izuku also leaves for the building he wanted to go to. Izuku is having an amazing time. He is seeing a lot of support equipment used by many heroes. This place is amazing. This is the hovercraft used by a former hero, but it's not just any hovercraft. It's the first hovercraft created by his second support agency after the first one went bankrupt. I see you know a lot about heroes. A voice snapped him out of his thoughts, turning to see who told him that. He found a girl. The girl is a shapely and attractive pale-skinned young woman of slightly above average height with quite a round face. She has wavy blonde hair which reaches halfway down her back. 2 shorter pieces she leaves over her shoulders, side-swept bangs that frames her face, aqua blue eyes with notable upper eyelashes, some slightly longer ones extending on each side and pronounced lower eyelashes. She wears a white short-sleeved dress shirt with plaid cuffs, a large bow of the same design at her neck, and a dark raspberry pink waistcoat. Accompanying these are pale gray capri pants, under which are a pair of plaid pink socks as well as a pair of heeled brown boots. She also wears a wristwatch and pink, oval-framed glasses. I'm sorry, but I found all you know about this interesting. Very few people can identify things as accurately as you, the girl said. Izuku blushed looking at the girl. She is easily the prettiest girl he has ever seen in his entire life. Well, I always liked heroes. In fact, I'm studying to be one. I see, so you're a future hero. Why yeah, oh, I'm sorry, I haven't introduced myself. My name is Izuku Midoriya, but I go by the hero name Agni. Nice to meet you, Agni. My name is Melissa Shield, but you can call me Melissa. The girl, now identified as Melissa, said. And nice to meet you, Melissa. Wait, Shield, like Professor David Shield? That's right, in fact he is my father. You are David Shield's daughter. Daughter of Professor David Shield, an outstanding scientist in the investigation of quirks and who also won a Nobel Prize. All Might's former partner when he was in the United States, who designed all of All Might's suits. Not just that, he also Izuku began to talk nonstop. However, Melissa's giggles stopped him. Oh sorry, it's a bad habit of mine, although I haven't done it for a long time. Don't worry, I'm just amused by how much you know about my father. By the way, you sound like you know Uncle Might himself. Uncle Might. Yes, my father is a great friend of All Might. That's why I call him Uncle Might. Makes sense. And to answer your question, All Might is one of my teachers at UA. So, you study at the UA. Incredible. It must be great. In that case, you should know that Uncle Might is here. All Might is on Island. Yes, in fact I invited him to celebrate my father's progress in one of his experiments. I see. In that case I'd better let him spend the day with his friend. Hey, I have an idea. It may seem sudden, but do you mind if I can spend the rest of the day with you? I have no one to spend the day with. Sure. Sure, I actually came here with a friend, but we split up as we each wanted to go see different things. Thank you very much. I can't wait to meet more future heroes. After this, Melissa showed Izuku the rest of the things in the place. This is incredible. It doesn't look like an island built by humans. There are quite a few things and several heroes too, said an excited Izuku. That's how it is. We have all the comforts of a real city. This is because the scientists and their families have a confidentiality agreement, so they cannot leave. I see. Still, this is amazing. There will also be a party for industry guests in a couple of days. Yes, I know, my Shinso-kun and I are invited. In that case, do you think I can go with you? I am also invited. Sure. Thank you. Come on, there are still a lot of things to see, Melissa said as she showed Izuku the rest of the place. While they were looking at an invention, Izuku decided to ask Melissa something. I assume you attend the academy on Island. Yes, I want to be a scientist like my dad, Melissa said happily. However, Izuku could see a hint of sadness in her expression when he was about to ask. Someone interrupts them. I see you're having fun, Deku-kun. Hearing this, both turn around to see Uraraka in her hero costume with a slightly annoyed face and a forced smile. Uraraka-san, what are you doing here? I see you're having fun, Deku-kun, Uraraka said without changing her expression. Izuku couldn't say anything because someone else called their attention. I see you're here too, Midoriya. It was Momo, also in her hero costume. I didn't know you had an invitation. Midoriya. Gyro was here too, just like the others, in her hero costume. Why yeah, I was invited for winning the sports festival. By the way, Shinso-kun is here too. They gave me permission to bring someone with me. Your friends? Melissa asked. Yes, they are also my classmates, Izuku said. Cool. Hey, why don't we go get something to drink? The blonde girl asked. Some cafeteria. So, all of you have worked with professional heroes. Cool, said Melissa. Well, it was training more than anything else. The only one who had a real experience of all of us here is Midoriya, Momo answered. It's still amazing, Melissa said. Here are your drinks, a waiter said. However, the girls and Izuku recognized his voice and were surprised to see who it was. Kaminari-kun, what are you doing here? Izuku asked. They need part-time staff for the exhibition and that's why I applied, answered Kaminari. I guess is also your classmates, said Melissa. That's right, Kaminari said. Izuku was about to say something but was interrupted by someone. Why do you stop to talk? It was Ada, who was in his hero outfit and was running towards them. If you are going to earn money, you must work harder. So here you are, Ada-kun, Izuku said. Of course, although of all my family, only I could come. So, you too, Ada-kun. I also received invitations because my father is a shareholder of the sponsors of the Expo, said Momo. And since Momo had 2 extra invitations, among the girls we competed to see who would go with her, and that is why we are here, Gyro said as Uraraka nodded. Izuku was about to speak but an explosion caught her attention. Arriving at the place they could see that it was a type of competition. Then the announcer began to speak. Completion time, 15 seconds, first place. It's Shinso-kun. Hey, Shinso-kun over here. Izuku called his friend, who was transformed in Strabaman. Midoriya Shinso said before jumping up and landing on the railing in front of the group. I see there are other people too, Shinso said as he greeted the people he knows, and that he turns to see Melissa. And you are. I'm Melissa Shield. You must be Hitoshi Shinso, right? Shinso steps down from the railing to the ground and returns to his human form. I guess Midoriya told you about me, that's right. Nice to meet you. What an interesting quirk. I had never seen anything like it, Melissa said. It's not that weird in that. Shinso addresses Izuku. Since you're here, why don't you try it too, Midoriya? Sure, I have nothing to lose by trying. Looks like we have a new contestant. Getting ready, Izuku pulls out his D-scan, which doesn't go unnoticed by Melissa. I had never seen anything like it in that. He notices that Shinso has a similar one. He also has one. What does this mean? His question is answered when Izuku transforms into Flameman. He also does the same. Maybe they are related in some way. No, maybe it's a very strange coincidence. Amazing. 16 seconds. Second place. That was amazing, Deku-kun. Cheered Uraraka to Izuku, who just came back. Thanks, I was close to first place. Amazing. The announcement got everyone's attention. 13 seconds. He's in first place, said the announcer while Todoroki, in his Paladramon form, was standing in the arena. He froze all the robots. Todoroki-kun. That caught the boys' attention. I see all of you came, said Todoroki. In his human form, he was now with the rest. It must be great to be at UA, said Melissa. However, in her mind other thoughts occurred. He can also do the same. This definitely can't be a coincidence. I should ask Izuku, but maybe it's a secret. I better ask him in private. Sometime later. It was 6 p.m. and the Expo had closed for today. In the cafeteria, Kaminari was on the floor totally tired. It's just the pre-opening and I'm already very tired. At that moment the rest arrived to see him. You worked really hard today, Eda said as he handed them 2 tickets. What is this? Asked Kaminari. Invitations for the party, answered Momo. For me? Asked Kaminari. Melissa got some invitations for you, as a reward for your hard work, said Gyro. Thank you, Kaminari said. Now that everything is settled, I am leaving. See you tomorrow, Eda said as he walked away. Todoroki did the same. We are leaving too, Momo said as she and the other girls left. I guess it's time to go back to the hotel, Shinso said. But before he and Izuku were able to leave, Melissa interrupted. Wait, Izuku, can you come with me? I want to show you something. Sure, I guess we'll meet at the hotel, Shinso-kun. Sure. After this, Shinso leaves. Island Academy campus. This is the campus of the academy where I go, Melissa said as she showed Izuku around the place. And this is my experiment lab. Upon entering the room, Izuku is surprised to see the number of machines that were in the place. Wow, this is great. I can't believe you're doing research in a place like this. And that Izuku realizes the trophies that Melissa had. You really are talented. I do not think so. My grades are not that good, Melissa said as she searched for something among her experiment. So, what do you want to show me? Izuku asked. In fact, I want to ask you something. I just wanted to do it in private. I see. So, what is it? I noticed that your quirk is some kind of transformation and that you use a device to do it. However, I did notice that Todoroki and Shisno also do the same thing and have the same device as you. Oh, that it is somewhat complicated to explain. Before that, I want to ask you if you know anything about the news of the evolution of the quirks. Yes, the director of the UA said that 3 students had evolved their quirk or something similar. Wait, are you 3 those students? Yes, that's why our quirks are similar, since we need to evolve to be able to use the new level of our quirks. This device, D-scan we call it, makes us take the necessary form to use our quirks. Evolve, in other words, Izuku explained. I see. Sorry if the question was somewhat aggressive. Don't worry. By the way, while we're here, I can ask you another question, Izuku said. Sure. When you mentioned being the same as your father, I could notice a certain sadness in you. Perhaps, is there something else? Melissa was silent for a few seconds, but then she decided to answer. You see, before that, I wanted to be a hero, just like everyone I guess, but in the end my dream became impossible. Why? Because I was diagnosed quirkless. This answer shocked Izuku. My quirk never woke up, and when I was 4 years old my father took me to the doctor in there. He confirmed our fears there. I decided to be like my father. Don't get me wrong, I love what I'm doing, but deep inside me, I still want to be a hero. I see. You said you're 15 years old, right? Yes, you're the same age as me apparently. We have more in common than it seems. What do you mean? I was quirkless too for a long time. I didn't know I had a quirk until a few months before I entered UA. But how can you not know you have a quirk? Apparently my quirk evolved very early, and I couldn't use it because I didn't know I needed a D-scan. It wasn't possible to detect it in the traditional way either. It wasn't until shortly before entering the UA that I was able to use it, so I can say that I understand you, Izuku said. I see. After this, Melissa smiles slightly. I may still have some hope, you know, who says, maybe the same thing is happening to me. Yeah, maybe. Izuku smiled. He knew that was a lie though, but he didn't want to take away Melissa's hopes, who says, maybe one of the remaining warriors will choose her. Hotel. Izuku entered the room. I see you arrived, Shinso said. What did she want to show you? Nothing. She wanted to ask me about the D-scan. She finds it strange that Todoroki, you and I can do the same thing. I see. What did you say to her? What Nezu said to tell people in case someone asks us about this. Good, by the way. Ida said that we all meet tomorrow at the entrance of the place where the party will be so that we can all go together. Great, I'll let Melissa know. Good, well, I'm going to sleep. It's been a fun day night. Night, Izuku said, and after telling Melissa of the plans he also goes to sleep. Izuku and Shinso arrive at the meeting place with the rest both dressed in formal clothes. Izuku wears a red suit with his signature pair of red shoes. Shinso for his part had on a purple suit with gray details. Upon arrival they meet Ida, who has a blue suit, Todoroki with a white suit, and Kaminari with his waiter suit, which is formal. Sorry, we're a little late, Izuku said. It seems that people are still missing, Shinso noted. In that, the door opens, and their 3 classmates enter. Sorry for being late, but Gyro-sen took longer than expected, Momo said. Momo wears an elegant light green sleeveless dress, a pair of white heels, while her hair is tied in a different ponytail than she usually wears. Gyro is wearing a pink and purple dress, on top of which he has a leather jacket and 2 purple gloves. She has long gray socks and her shoes are pink. Her hair is tied up and has a pink flower on it. Lastly, Uraraka is wearing a pink dress, long black stockings, and a pair of purple heels. In her hair she has a black ribbon with a white flower. Sorry, I'm not used to wearing clothes like this, Gyro said. I think you look stunning, Kaminari said while giving a thumbs up, in that he receives an attack from Gyro's Jack. You don't like compliments. It's my first time wearing formal clothes, Uraraka said as she approaches Izuku. Well, I think you look. Izuku doesn't finish speaking as he turns to the entrance, and what he sees makes him blush. Melissa had entered. Her formal look is her hair up in a high ponytail that is tied with a large black bow with bangs swept back underneath a red headband. While her face framing is left loose, she has golden earrings which hang from her earlobes, and she doesn't wear her glasses. She wears a strapless dress with a sweetheart neckline. The upper half of the dress is a deep blue, while the skirt is a pale powder blue. Separating the 2 segments is a black cloth belt with a large white rose that sits slightly to her left. Covering where the material is tied, the belt matches the black ruffles underneath her knee-length skirt. On her feet, she wears white heels with straps and an open toe. Her toenails have painted a shade of coral pink, the same as her fingernails and lips. Is everyone here already? Perfect. The party is about to start, Melissa said. And Melissa, is that you? You look very pretty. I mean good. You look good, Izuku said as his blush grew. Hearing this, Melissa smiles with a slight blush on her cheeks. Thank you, Izuku. Seeing this interaction, Shinso can only pinch the bridge of his nose and shake his head. Midoriya is awesome in many ways, but with girls he's pretty pathetic. Very well, since we are all here, we should go inside, Ida said. However, when trying to open the door, it does not open. Weird. Suddenly the windows and doors are blocked by metal shutters. What's going on? Kaminari asked. The lifts don't work either, Gyro said. It's the security system. Something must have activated it, Melissa said. We must get to the party's reception. All Might is there, Izuku said. Is All Might here? Then there is nothing to worry about, Kaminari said. However, Izuku ignored him. Melissa-san, is there any other way to enter the party? Izuku asked. If we use the emergency stairs, maybe we can get to the party, Melissa answered. Please guide us, Izuku said, so that after everyone follows Melissa through the emergency stairs. Leaving the stairs, the group could see that they were above the party. Seeing what was happening, they were surprised. All the heroes, including All Might, were trapped while several thugs were pointing guns at the civilians. Izuku takes out his phone and with the flashlight he signals to All Might, who manages to see him. Gyro-san, can you hear him? Izuku asked. Yes. At that, Izuku beckons All Might, saying they can hear him and asking what's going on. The villains have taken over the tower. They have control of the security systems. The entire island has been taken hostage. It's too dangerous. You have to get out of here. After these words, the boys hide in a safe place to decide what to do. I say we listen to All Might and get out of here, Ida said. I have the same opinion. We're still students. We can't fight villains without our licenses. We must escape, Momo said. This place was built with the same level of security as Tartarus, where they lock up the most dangerous villains. It will be very difficult to escape, Melissa said. Still, we can't stay here doing nothing. We are trying to become heroes. Does that mean that doing nothing is okay? Todoroki-kun, Momo tried to say. I want to save them, Izuku interrupted. We need to save All Might. That way he can work things out. Are you sure? It can be dangerous, Kaminari said. I don't care. I'll find a way to save everyone, Izuku said. Everyone is quiet after hearing Izuku's words. The security system is on the top floor of the tower. If we restart the system, the heroes will be freed, and they will be able to save the hostages, Melissa said. If we can reset the security system, there will be no need to confront the villains, Izuku said. I'm in. Let's do it, Shinso said, surprising everyone. Me too, Todoroki said. All right, I'm in too, Kaminari said. With you 3 we cannot fail. Me too, Gyro and Momo said. If you promise to run away if things get tough, then I'll go too, Ida said. Very well, Melissa-san, you wait here. You will be safe in this place, Izuku said. What are you saying? I'm going to, Melissa said. But nothing. I'm the only one who can restart the security systems. Besides, this is my only chance to be a hero, even if it's just for one time. Hearing these words, Izuku remembered when he still didn't have Ancient Greyman's powers. Very well, let's save everyone. After this and warn All Might of their plans, much to the hero's regret, the boys go to the security room. After climbing an infinity of stairs and reaching the 80th floor, the boys are very tired. It turns out that the security room is on the 200th floor. Being tired, Kaminari opens a door through which they can cut through. Unfortunately, that made the villains realize that they are there. The boys arrive at the plant nursery, where there is an elevator that can take them to the 200th floor. However, two villains came out of the elevator, who begin to patrol the place. The group hides. What do we do? Kaminari asked. You guys go ahead, Todoroki said. I'll take care of those villains. Todoroki-kun, Izuku tried to stop him. Don't worry about me. I'll be with you before you know it. After these words, Todoroki takes out his D-scan and charges against the villains. Evolution. Transforming into Paladroman, Ice Age, and firing an ice beam that hits the villains. After this, Todoroki uses his ice to lift the group to a higher floor so that they can continue advancing. Go. Following this, one of the villains appears to transform into some kind of purple ogre while the other creates currents of air from his hands. 2 against 1. You really are a fool if you think you can beat us, said the ogre villain. And you are fools if you underestimate me. The villainous ogre charges at Todoroki, who dodges the attack, Meteor Hail, and from one attack he sends the villain flying. However, he quickly begins to dodge the other villain's compressed air attacks, Ice Age. As Todoroki fights, the rest of the group arrives at the 130th floor, which is guarded by hundreds of robots. The group don't know how to advance. It seems that the villains changed their tactics. Now they want to capture us, Ida said. How do we get past these robots? Kaminari asked. There is no other alternative. Gyro-san, Yaoyorozu-san, Kaminari-kun, Uraraka-san, it's time to fight, Ida said. What are you talking about? Moving forward without fighting is now impossible. We don't know what lies ahead. That's why Midoriya-kun and Shinso-kun must go ahead with Melissa-san, Ida said. No, we can find a way to avoid the robots, Izuku said. No, Ida-kun is right. You must continue. There is no other alternative, Momo said as she created a pair of weapons and handed one to Uraraka. But, Midoriya, I think they've already decided. Let's go, Shinso said. Right, good luck guys, Izuku said. Okay, let's go. In that, the group charges. Ida starts destroying robots with his kicks. Kaminari electrocutes them. Momo and Uraraka destroy robots with the weapons that Momo created. And Gyro destroys robots with her jacks. The trio is close to reaching the 200th floor. However, the next floor can only be accessed via an elevator or through a trapdoor, which is in the ceiling. Damn, now what? Shinso said. I think we can reach the trapdoor. Are you sure? Shinso asked. Yes, Agunaman and Labaman shouldn't have a problem jumping to it. Good. Melissa-san, please climb on my back, Izuku said. And the girl does what is indicated. Let's go, Izuku indicated. Evolution. Both boys screamed, transforming into Agunaman and Labaman. They are different from those of that time, Melissa thought. Both boys jump, and thanks to their physical enhancements from the transformations, they have no problem reaching the next floor. The arrived, Shinso said, quickly blocking an attack from a villain, who attacked Shinso from behind with his hand transformed into a weapon, Midoriya. Crimson Nuclei. Izuku quickly attacks the villain and knocks him out. We have to hurry, Shinso said. Yes, Melissa-san, please don't let go. We'll increase the speed to get there faster, Izuku said. Yes, Melissa said, clinging tighter to Izuku's back. Both boys start running at high speeds, on the way knocking out various villains who were trying to stop them. David's shield is in the security vault, located in the same place as the security room. He is looking for something, and that he manages to get a briefcase which had a device inside. Finally, I'm glad to know that what I organized paid off. Father, and that David turns to see his daughter, on the back of what he thinks is a hero. What do you mean you organized? Are you behind this incident? Everything to get that device. After being cornered, David decides to admit it. Yes. What? Why? This device is able to increase the power of the heroes without using a drug. However, the committee did not see it that way. They decided to close my invention and take all my things. That's why I hired these villains to get it back. This must be a lie. My father would never do something like that, Melissa said, tears in her eyes. Why? I do it for All Might, David said. You may not know it, but his quirk is disappearing. This surprises the trio. With my invention, I can prevent that from happening. All Might's quirk is disappearing. That explains why he's always in such a hurry after classes are over, Izuku thought. Everyone is risking their lives. Do you have any idea what Izuku and his classmates had to go through to rescue the hostages? What do you mean? David asked. The villains are actually supposed to be actors and they should be acting. Of course we are pretending, someone said. Suddenly a bullet hit David's stomach. We pretended to pretend we were villains. The head of the villains said he is a tall, bulky man with dark red hair and yellow eyes. Dark patches of face paint cover his mouth, nose, and extend across his right eye, and there is also a scar on his left cheek. He wears a large, white coat with gray cuffs and trimmings. He also sports combat gear that his entire squad wears, including combat boots, dark pants, and a combat vest. He covers his hands with brown gloves and sports a metallic mask. Dad, Melissa got off Izuku's back and ran to give her father first aid, tearing off a piece of her dress and using it to cover the bleeding. Luckily, the bullet didn't hit any organs. Damn you, Izuku yelled as he and Shinso charged at the villain. However, the villain touches the wall and a giant metal block comes out of the wall and collides with the duo, causing them to fall to the ground. After that, another metal block, this time from the ceiling, crushes them and keeps them trapped. Melissa, quick, reset the security. I'll distract him, David said. Yes, unbeknownst to the villain, Melissa sneaks into the security office. Who are you? David asks. My name is Wolfram, and I'm here to get this, Wolfram said as he took the briefcase and took out the device it contained. No, Izuku screamed as he and Shinso charged again. The villain smiles and uses his quirk again to attack with various metal blocks. Seeing this, Shinso pushes Izuku out of the way. However, he receives the full attack, which sends him flying and crashing into the wall. Taking advantage of the push, Izuku positions himself in front of Wolfram. However, metal emerges from the ground and hits him. Not only that, it also starts dragging him towards the ceiling, going through it and falling on the outside of the building, up to the top. Wolfram laughs and proceeds to put the device on his head. After activating the device, his appearance changed, his muscles grew, and the metal of the building began to fuse with him. Haha. Let's see how you do it now, heroes, he said while using the metal to go up to where Izuku is. At that time, the system restarts. Melissa returns to her father and Shinso recovers from the attack. Where is Wolfram? Shinso asked. On the roof. The other hero is up there too, David said. Understood. Midoriya and I will keep you busy while All Might arrives. Shinso prepares to jump through the hole Izuku made by being dragged. Wait, I'm going too, Melissa said. No, it's very dangerous, Shinso said. Do you think I care? I'm going too. Did you hear me? Melissa said. Fine, but once there, look for a safe place to hide, okay? Yes, Melissa. No, David tried to stop his daughter. Sorry, but must go, Melissa said as she climbed on Shinso's back. Be careful please, David said, so that after Shinso jumped in the direction of the roof. With Izuku. Izuku recovers from the attack. When he gets up, he can notice that the building is still under construction, at least this part. It seems that they still plan to do more floors. There is even a crane here and that. From the hole through which he came out, Wolfram appears. Izuku quickly begins to dodge various metal attacks from the villain. As Izuku dodges the attacks, Shinso and Melissa reach the roof. We're here, now go hide, Shinso said as Melissa got off his back and went to hide. Seeing that Melissa is safe, Shinso draws his swords and tries to attack Wolfram from behind. Lobo Kendo, licked Victor Upsilon. As he is about to land the attack, a metal block emerges from the ground and hits him in the stomach, causing him to fly off and fall to the floor of the ceiling. Shinso-kun, Izuku yells. However, he drops his guard and Wolfram takes advantage of this to hit him with a metal-covered punch. Izuku flies out and it seems that he is going to fall from the building. However, some metal prevents him from falling into the void. However, that metal crashes him to the ground just after saving him from the deadly fall. I will not let a simple fall kill you. You will die by my hands, Wolfram said as Izuku and Shinso got up and positioned themselves next to each other, ready to continue fighting. With Todoroki. Todoroki dodges another attack from the ogre villain and quickly counterattacks Meteor Hail. Surrounding himself with ice, Todoroki tackles the villain and sends him flying and crashing into a wall. The other villain tries to attack with several balls of compressed air. Thanks to Todoroki being able to fly, he easily dodges them. Damn it, stay still, the villain said. The villain is about to launch another air bullet. However, Ice Age. Todoroki freezes his hand with which he was going to shoot Meteor Hail. And with a tackle he sends him flying and collides with his partner and they both crash into the wall. Ice Age. Todoroki ends the match by freezing both villains. That will keep them at bay while everything is resolved, Todoroki said. Now I need to meet with the rest. After this, Todoroki begins to fly and go to where the rest of his classmates were. Izuku and Shinso versus Wolfram. Izuku and Shinso try to make their way towards Wolfram. However, the villain's quirk is very annoying. Thanks to the fact that the building is mainly made of metal, the villain can control it and get in their way. Not only that, if they manage to get close, the villain seems to have a second quirk, which increases his physical strength, and what's worse, thanks to David's device, the villain has his quirks enhanced. In short, they cannot get close as the metal prevents them, and if they somehow manage to get close, the villain can hit them very hard. Damn it, the metal is very annoying. Don't let us get close. Without the metal it would be easier to face him, Shinso said as he dodged a metal block. I know if any of us could fly it would be easier to avoid metal, but only Todoroki-kun can, and he's not here. Quickly both boys charge Wolfram. However, the metal chases them and forces them back. Pyro Punch. Izuku tries to destroy a metal block. He succeeds, but another appears and hits him. Izuku recovers and Shinso reaches his side. They can see how two gigantic metal blocks are heading towards them, fire darts, divided by light ball. Both boys use their ranged attacks to try to destroy the metal. However, they don't seem to succeed. They keep shooting. However, the ground below them begins to move and throws them off balance so that the blocks fall on top of both of them. Both boys are struggling against the metal, so it doesn't crush them with all their might. They try to avoid it. However, the metal is getting heavier. Melissa is watching all of this in a safe place. However, she can't bear to see the boys about to be defeated. No, this can't be. They need help. But what can I do? In that, Melissa turns to see the crane, which had several tubes on its hook. The crane, maybe it can give them a window to attack. Quickly, Melissa goes to the crane. Izuku and Shinso couldn't take it anymore. Metal is too heavy, even for them. Haha. That's it. How Path A Wolfram could not finish as some tubes hit him and made him crash to the ground. Not only that, but they also fell on top of him. Izuku and Shinso feel the metal lose strength and manage to get out of there. Seeing what happened, they saw Melissa operating the crane. The girl gives them a thumbs up. However, they are not the only ones who noticed the girl on the crane. Wolfram saw her too. That girl is a pain in the ass. Quickly using his quirk to hit and destroy the crane with the metal. Melissa flies out of the crane. Melissa. Izuku screams as he and Shinso try to save the girl. However, Wolfram, with his metal, prevents it. Melissa begins to see the world in slow motion, falling to what is surely her death. So, this is how I die. At least I was able to do something heroic before I died. Melissa closes her eyes, waiting for the final impact. However, it never comes. In fact, it doesn't seem like she's going to continue falling. The girl opens her eyes, and to her surprise, it wasn't Izuku or Shinso who saved her. It was something more like a spirit, for lack of a better word. This surprised everyone, including Wolfram, who didn't move by the surprise, allowing Izuku and Shinso to recover for a moment. Midoriya. That's ancient caveman, Shinso said. Yes, that means Melissa was chosen, Izuku said. Melissa lands safely while watching her savior. After that, the spirit begins to disappear. However, something remains behind. A device. Seeing it, Melissa quickly identifies it as the same device used by Izuku, Shinso, and Todoroki, only that this one is pink with purple. Without thinking twice, she takes it. Is this, Melissa thought, remembering how Izuku, Shinso, and Todoroki transform. She decided to try it too. Data appears on Melissa's right hand. Execute. The D-scan makes contact with the data. Spirit evolution. Data begins to surround her. Inside the data, Melissa's clothes were stored inside the D-scan. In that, several screens appeared around Melissa. Each screen shows what appears to be a piece of pink clothing. Soon each screen joins to form two screens, one behind Melissa and one in front, each screen showing the full clothing, kind of revealing, to be honest. In that, both screens begin to approach Melissa. Once they make contact with her, Melissa begins to change. Several seconds later, the transformation is complete. The data disappeared, and instead of Melissa there was Caseman, a fairy Digimon with long purple hair, fair skin, and 4 green stripes on its face. It wears a pink bra and pink panties, a high-waist pink belt above its navel, and large pink boots with green soles, purple heels with butterfly wings attached, green borders at the top, yellow and red circles, and white knee pads with 4 green diagonal marks coming out of it, forming a butterfly image on each knee. It also wears purple armbands under metallic gauntlets with brooches at the wrist that are adorned with the symbol of the spirits of wind and have butterfly wings attached, silver shoulder pads, and a visor with a final pair of butterfly wings attached. After the transformation, Melissa begins to see herself. This is me. Why do clothes have to be so revealing? Well, that's not important at the moment. The girl turns to Wolfram. Wolfram, I will also be your opponent. The girl starts to fly, as if she always has, and heads for Wolfram. I don't know how I can fly without practicing. It feels like I've always done it. Damn girl, I don't know how you did that, but you won't beat me, Wolfram said before attacking with several metal blocks. Thanks to being able to fly, Melissa easily dodges all of Wolfram's attacks and manages to get closer to him. The villain tries to hit her, but thanks to her agility and light body, Melissa manages to dodge the blow. Tempest twist. Melissa performs a handstand and unleashes a whirlwind kick, which knocks Wolfram to the ground disoriented. Izuku and Shinso arrive with Melissa. Melissa-san, you are amazing, Izuku said. Thanks, I can finally fulfill my dream, Melissa said. Welcome to the club, Shinso said. Wolfram starts to get up, although he is still somewhat disoriented. All right, it's time to take this guy down, Melissa-san. Shinso-kun, let's go, Izuku ordered. Melissa gets ahead of the boys. This makes Wolfram focus on her and try to attack her with the metal. The girl dodges all the villain's attacks. Stupid girl. You won't be able to beat me just by dodging. I'm just distracting you. Metalhead in that, Izuku and Shinso appear in front of Wolfram. He is unable to defend himself. They are very close. Combined attack. Shining Burn Slash. The two yelled in unison. Izuku surrounds Wolfram with a fire dragon. Shinso takes advantage of this to slash with his swords, causing fire and light to hit Wolfram. After receiving the attack, the villain is suspended in the air, very weak but still conscious. You haven't defeated me yet, he weakly said, and that Melissa appears in front of him. Don't forget about me. Flowery Gust. Melissa performs a kick with her left leg, right into Wolfram's stomach, and then another with her right leg, kicking Wolfram in the face. The villain falls unconscious to the ground, and not only that, but the kick was also so strong that it removed the device from his head, which was grabbed in the air by Melissa. Melissa lands while Izuku and Shinso arrive at her side. Melissa stares at her father's device and then throws it on the floor and destroys it with a stomp. This thing has caused more problems than it fixed. A few seconds later, he realizes what happened. Wait, did I just do what I did? That's right. Congratulations, Melissa-san, Izuku said. Melissa couldn't take it anymore and tears came to her eyes. I'm so happy. In that, Todoroki lands from the sky. Guys, are y'all okay? Who are you? It's me, Melissa. I'm Melissa. That means, before Todoroki says anything else, All Might comes up from the ground with David. I'm here, All Might said. A little late, All Might. We already took care of this guy, Shinso said. I see. Good job, young Midoriya, young Shinso, young Todoroki, and young excuse me, who are you? Melissa giggles. It's me, Uncle Might. Uncle Might. Wait, Melissa. Melissa, is that you? Davis asked. Yes, it's me, Dad. And that Melissa returns to her human form. So that's how it works. How is this possible? You were supposed to be quirkless. All Might turned to see the trio of boys, who return to their human form as well. The trio nods to confirm the hero's suspicions. I see, David, your daughter was never quirkless. What happened is that her quirk evolved before the doctors detected it. Evolve? What are you talking about? All Might proceeds to tell Davis the hypothesis of the evolution of the quirks. I see, that explains a lot of things. Anyways, we better lock this thug up. You guys rest easy. You did an amazing job. Next day, after a difficult day, everyone was ready to return to Japan. Melissa is saying goodbye to everyone. The last ones missing were Izuku and Shinso. Goodbye, guys. It was very nice to meet you. Same here, Shinso said. Yes, it is a pity that we have to go. I would have liked to know you more, Izuku said. Yes, by the way, Izuku, a reward for helping me. Melissa approaches Izuku. That won't be nice. Izuku couldn't finish speaking as Melissa gave him a kiss on the cheek, too. Great. You broke him, Shinso said. Well, it's time to go. Our flight is about to leave, Shinso said while dragging a stunned Izuku. Goodbye. Melissa said goodbye with small tears falling from her eyes. A few days later, David is at home, still recovering from the bullet he received. In that, his cell phone rings. David answers. Hello, Principal Nezu. What's going on? Is there something you need? What? Are you serious? Melissa at UA. It makes sense. Everyone who presented the quirk evolution is in the same class at the UA, and you also told me that there is a vacancy in that class, but I don't know in that. David turns to the window. There he can see his daughter, transformed into Caseman, helping to rebuild what was damaged. You know what? I accept. I will fill out all the necessary paperwork. It's time for her to fulfill her true dream. At UA, I'm glad to hear that, Mr. Shield. I'm sure Melissa-chan will be in good hands. Once you finish the paperwork, I will send you your daughter's student ID. We can't wait to have her with us after this. Nezu hangs up the call. One more with us, only one left. The 19 students of Class A were in their classroom. Camp was a couple of days away. However, there seemed to be a few announcements Aizawa needed to give them. You are all here. Good. As you know, since the beginning of the year, this class has been with one less student. This has forced us to change activities and lessons a bit to accommodate this lack Aizawa started. Fortunately, this will no longer be necessary. What do you mean, Sensei? Ida asked. Starting today, you will have a new classmate, Aizawa said. This news surprised everyone. A new classmate? Who? Is it someone from the General Studies Department? Why not ask her instead? Aizawa said. Her? Don't tell me it's her, Izuku thought. He already had an idea of who his new classmate could be. The door of the classroom opened, and a blonde girl entered, which several people recognized. Some of you may already know her. Still, let me introduce you to Melissa Shield. She will be your new classmate. I hope that even though she joined after you, you treat her as an equal, Aizawa said. Hello, as Aizawa already said, my name is Melissa Shield. Nice to meet all of you. You can ask her any questions you want later. First, we need to finish the announcement. Shield, go to your seat. I understand that Nezu has already filled you in on everything, Aizawa said, emphasizing the word everything. Yes, after that Melissa takes a seat. Moving on to other matters, the place where we will go camping was changed at the last minute, Aizawa said. What? The wild classroom yelled. In this way we can prevent the place from being disclosed. This way we will make sure that the villains do not attack us, Aizawa explained. That's all. You have the rest of the day off. Cafeteria. I'm glad you were able to join the UA. It was a nice surprise, Izuku said to Melissa. Yes, I'm glad to be here too. In fact, it caught me by surprise too. Melissa was sitting in the cafeteria. At first she sat with Izuku's group, but soon after all class was at the same table, since they wanted to meet their new classmate, or, in the case of those who were in the island, know her better. Flashback. A few days ago. Melissa, David called his daughter. I'm here, Melissa said as she approached her father. Do you need some help? No, in fact, I have a present for you, David said as he handed something to his daughter. A plane ticket. Melissa asked. That's right, you're going to Japan, David said. Why? It's not that I don't appreciate it, but why? Melissa asked. Easy, the UA is in Japan, and since you are going to study there you need to be in Japan, David told his daughter as he handed her new UA student ID. Melissa didn't know what to say. I don't know what to say in that. Tears came out of her eyes. She quickly runs to hug her father. Thank you. You don't have to thank me. It was Principal Nezu who asked me to let you go to the UA. Your friends probably told him about what happened. Luckily there was a vacancy in heroism class A. You're sure? Aren't you disappointed that I don't want to be like you? Melissa, I would never be disappointed in you. In fact, I could never be prouder of what my daughter is going to become. You know, I also wanted to be a hero at your age, although unlike you, my quirk didn't allow it. Thanks, Melissa said as her father wiped away her tears. Wait, I'm not supposed to be allowed to leave the island. Let's just say that Nezu can be very persuasive. He convinced them to let you go to the UA. I see, I guess I should thank him when I get to UA. Well, what are we waiting for? It's time to prepare your things. A friend of All Might will receive you in Japan, David said. And where will I be staying? Don't worry, I already have a rented apartment for you. All Might's friend will take you there, as well as show you how to get to the UA. Thanks, Dad, I will miss you. Me too, but don't worry, because every day I'll go to sleep knowing that my daughter will become a great hero. I see, so it was thanks to Nezu that you're here, Izuku said. Still, I'm glad there's another girl in the group, Mina said. By the way, what is your quirk? Kaminari asked. You never told us what it is. Well, I have this, so Melissa said as she showed her D-scan. This surprised the entire class. You also have one of those, just like Midoriya, Shinso and Todoroki, Mina said. Damn, I'm so jealous. I also want to evolve my quirk, Kaminari said. Yeah, me too, Kirishima said. And what everyone said that they also want to evolve their quirks. Melissa approaches Izuku and whispers to him, by the way, Nezu told me all about Digimon, legendary warriors, and that Shigaraki guy in the league. I will help too. Izuku nods at this with a smile, as well as nodding towards Todoroki and Shinso, who understood what he meant, smiling at Melissa. After this, the rest of the day passed normally, and so on until the day of the camp arrived. Camp day. Outside the UA. Class is ready to go to camp. Everyone is excited about this, but suddenly, what? Class A needs regularization courses? So, some of you failed. A blonde guy said. Doesn't that seem weird to you? Wasn't Class A supposed to be better than Class B? In that, the blonde boy receives a chop to the neck by an orange-haired girl. Sorry, Class A, this guy is very strange in that. The girl looks at Melissa. I don't remember seeing you at the sports festival. Oh yeah, it's because I wasn't even in the UA at that time. I just joined Class A just a few days ago. My name is Melissa Shield. Oh, I see. Welcome to the course of heroes. Then don't worry. In Class B we are not like that. He is an exception, the girl said as she dragged the blonde to the Class B bus. All right guys, line up to get on the bus, Izuku said. And I had forgotten that Izuku is the president of Class A. 1 hour of travel later. Very well, you can go down, Aizawa said as all the class gets of the bus. Wait, where are we? Where is Class B? If I told you that there is no reason to be here, it would be a lie, Aizawa said. Hey, Eraser, a female voice said. It's been a while. The class turns and can see 2 girls, one blonde and one brown hair. We are the Wild Pussycats. Both girls scream while posing. Next to them was a boy with a scowling face. It's the Pussycats. They'll be helping us, Aizawa said. They are one of the 4 groups of heroes that founded the Union office. An excited Izuku said. They specialize in rescue operations. This is the 12th year of. He couldn't finish because the blonde hero, Pixie Bob, grabbed him by the face. I have 18 years of heart. You are 18. While this is happening, the other hero, Mandalay, points to a place in the distance. The campsite is there, at the base of the mountain. So why did we stop halfway? Don't tell me. What if we better get back on the bus? Right now, it's 9:30. If you hurry, you will arrive at noon, Mandalay said. It cannot be. Let's go back. Kittens that do not arrive before 12:30 will not have food, Pixie Bob said as she used her quirk to push Class off the road into the woods. Feel free to use your quirks while you're here, Mandalay said. This is not manly at all, Kirishima said after getting up. We better get moving, Izuku said. Suddenly, a beast made of dirt appears in front of them. Don't you think that's too excessive, Eraser? Mandalay asked. No, these guys have already been through harder things. Even our new member, they are all capable of defending themselves, Aizawa said. Evolution. The chosen 4 quickly transform and in a combined blow destroy the earth beast. Wow, Melissa, so that's you. What's up with your clothes? Mina asked while several of the boys stared at her. It's not my fault. I don't choose my clothes when I transform. Hey, focus. Izuku, transformed in Agunaman, said, we have to get to camp. Guide us. Class President Shinso, transformed in Labaman, said, alright Class A, come on. 4 p.m. Finally, you arrived, Pixie Bob said. Unfortunately, there will be no lunch for anyone. What? But I'm starving. Sorry, when we said you have 3 hours to arrive, we were referring to our standards, Mandalay said. The truth is that you took less than we think. You did it very well, especially you three. Pixie Bob said as she looked at 3 of the chosen 4, the 3 boys. I can't wait to see you in 3 years. I want them for myself. Was she always like this, Mandalay? Aizawa asked. No, it's because she's already at that age, Mandalay said. Speaking of age, Izuku tried to say. However, Pixie Bob took him by the face again. What's with that? There is something that caught my attention. Whose son is that child? Ha, you're wrong. He's my nephew Kota. Come and introduce yourself. You will live with them for a week, Mandalay said. Izuku returns to his human form. Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Izuku Midoriya and I am Izuku. Couldn't finish as the boy hit him there. You know the D. Kota, you can't hit people, especially boys there. I'm not interested in talking with people who want to be heroes, Kota said. Izuku, are you okay? Melissa asked as Izuku got up from the ground. I'll be all right. Get your luggage off the bus when you have left your bags in your rooms. Go to dinner in the dining room. After that, take a bath and sleep. The real challenge will start tomorrow, Aizawa said. Nighttime. Izuku was out of bed. He went to the bathroom. While he returned to his room, he found Mandalay on his way. Midoriya, what are you doing awake at this hour? Mandalay asked. I went to the bathroom, Izuku said. I see. Good night then. Wait, I want to ask you something. I'm hearing Kota-kun hates heroes, right? Yes, my cousins. I mean, their parents were heroes, but they lost their lives at work, Mandalay said in a sad tone. 2 years ago, they died protecting some civilians from a villain. Kota still does not understand the situation. He is still a child. Stop. The guilty of the death of their parents are the heroes. Next day, 5:30 a.m. Good morning, Aizawa said to the class, who were still waking up. They are all dressed in the gym suits. Today we start with strength training. This is a preparation to face real hostile actions from your enemies. Prepare your minds and hearts. That being said, Bakuga, try throwing this. Aizawa throws him the same ball from the quirk apprehension test. Your previous score was 70-52 meters. Let's see how much you've improved. Oh, it's to see our progress. I bet he'll throw it over a mile, Kirishima said. Die. Bakuga using an explosion sends the ball flying. Aizawa's machine beeps and the teacher shows the result, and to everyone's surprise almost nothing changed. 70-96 meters. You gained a lot of experience after all the events that happened. They improved emotionally, and technically it's time to focus on physical development. As you can see, his quirks haven't developed much, Aizawa said. After that he turns to see the 4 chosen ones. Well, maybe the quirks of some have improved. Even so, from now on we will strengthen his quirks. In this training there will be some who want to die, so do me the favor of not dying. Class B is on their way to train their quirks. Class A has already excelled several times. Now it's our turn. Vlad King, the Class B professor, said, get ready, because this training will be very difficult. Once Class B arrived at the training site, they could see hell on earth. Everyone in Class A was training their quirks. Katsuki Bakugo. He tries to expand the size of his bangs by expanding the sweat glands on his hands. Achako Uraraka. She tries to get used to the nausea of her quirk. In this way she will be able to increase the weight limit to which she can remove gravity. Momo Yaoyorozu and Rikido Sato. They ingest the energy needed for their quirks. This way their bodies get used to it. Sato tries to increase the time and effect of his ability while Yaoyorozu creates items while eating. Tenya Ida runs without stopping. Tsuyu Asui, she has pure physical training. She exercises her tongue and jumps. Yuga Aoyama, he increases his shooting time by shooting without stopping, despite the pain in his stomach. Denki Kaminari. He creates electricity non-stop, so he can increase his power as well as increasing the amount he can do before frying his brain. Mashurao Ajiro and Ijiro Kirishima. Ajiro increases the strength of his tail when hitting it against a hardened Kirishima. Meanwhile, Kirishima increases the hardness of his body when receiving Ajiro's attacks. Kyoka Gyro. She trains her jacks to improve their sound quality in addition to strengthening them. Mizo Shoji. He enhances his quirk by switching between replicas of his body while trying to find Hagakure. Toru Hagakure. She trains her stealth while hiding from Shoji. Hanta Siro. He creates tape endlessly, despite the pain, to increase the amount he can produce. Fumikage Takoyami. Accompany Dark Shadow into the darkness. The screams that are heard are his when facing Dark Shadow. Mina Ashido. She creates acid non-stop. This way it will be easier to use and will increase the amount she can create. What is this hell? Those who have quirks with limits set must raise said limits. Mutants must train their respective organs or body parts. Vlad King said. If we join Class A, we will be 40 in total. How can you handle so many people at the same time? That is why we are here. We are the Wild Pussycats. A group of 4 said. In this group are Mandalay and Pixie Bob, as well as a girl with green hair. Ragdoll and a muscular man, Tiger. My quirk, Search, allows me to monitor 100 people at the same time, Ragdoll said. My quirk, Earthflow, will create a suitable training ground for each of you, Pixie Bob said. My quirk, Telepath, allows me to give advice to many people at once, Mandalay said. I take care of giving the necessary motivation through punches and kicks, Tiger said. Wait, there are not supposed to be 20 students. I only count 16, said a boy from Class B. In that, Izuku, in his aghuman form, crashes on the ground in front of them. With difficulty, Izuku gets up. At that, Shinso, in his Loboman form, lands in front of him, fire darts. Izuku shoots fire from his wristbands while Shinso, Lobo Kendo, uses his swords to destroy the fireballs once both close, Pyro Punch, divided by Licked Victor Upsilon. They both clash their attacks. The Class B are about to ask, but in that two people fly over them. It was Melissa, in her Caseman form, who was being chased by Todoroki in his Paladorman form. In the air, in that Melissa points her hands at Todoroki, Hurricane Wave. Melissa throws long, thin tornadoes erupting from her fingertips. Ice Age. Shoto fires an ice beam and both attacks collide. Eraser Vlad King said, "What are they doing?" As the concept of quirk evolution is quite new, we are making them train and understand these new powers by facing each other, Aizawa said. Also, there is no quirk to train if they don't have any. Besides, I don't know how to train a digital spirit, Aizawa thought after thinking that. Izuku and Shinso punch each other in the face and fall unconscious to the ground. Returning to their human forms, Aizawa just shakes his head. 4 p.m. It's lunchtime. Today's dish, curry cooked by themselves. I think the taste of this is very questionable. But under these circumstances, I think all of this tastes delicious. As Izuku helps himself to another plate, he can see Koto leaving the place. He decides to follow him. Koto finds himself sitting on a mountain cliff. In that, he hears some footsteps, and when he turns to see Izuku with a plate of curry in his hands. What are you doing here? This is my secret hideout, Koto said. I saw you left without eating, so I brought you some curry, Izuku said. I'm not hungry, now go, Koto said. However, his stomach made a hungry noise without turning to see Izuku. The boy extends his arm to receive the curry. Now that you've done what you want, go. Your parents, are they the heroes? Water hose? Izuku asked. And I'm rereading the manga to see more or less how things are going, and I realized that in this part water hose is misspelled. It is written as water horse XD. Did Mandalay tell you that? Koto asked. And no, I had heard something about that. It was a terrible tragedy. I'm sorry for your loss. I don't need your apologies. You already gave me my food. Now get out of here. I see. I'm sorry, I'm leaving after this. Izuku leaves. On a mountain, a bit far from the camp, 9 figures are watching the camp from afar. 2 of them are Dabai and Toga. Come on, quick. We can't wait any longer, a hooded figure said. It's still early. Besides, didn't he tell us not to do anything flashy? Said a boy with a mask. Mustard? Yes, shut up. I know what I'm doing, Dabai said. How rude, Mustard said. I wasn't talking to you, Dabai said. All right, it's time to act. Remember Tamura's orders. Whoever doesn't obey them will be killed. This mask is not pretty. We do not like it, Toga said. If I didn't know what you have inside your head, I'd be afraid of you. Speaking in plural, a lizard-like man said. This is Spinner. Hush, I've got enough of that thing messing around in my head for you guys to start complaining, Dabai said. Anyway, it's time to act. Let's show those students that their days of peace are over. Group of failed students don't stop, Aizawa said to the group of 4 that failed the exam. In that we can see the 4 failed, Mina, Sato, Kaminari and Kirishima, totally tired, since they sleep later than the rest due to the remedial classes they have. I'm sorry, but I'm very tired. I told you this will be hard. The exam revealed your weaknesses. I want you to think why you are more tired than the rest, Aizawa said, in that he turns to see Uraraka and Aoyama. Uraraka, Aoyama, you were barely saved from failing. You got 35 of the 30 minimums to pass. Don't lose focus and don't slack off. Very good, kittens. Let me tell you about tonight, Pixie Bob said. Tonight, we will have a test of courage, class against class. After training, you have to have fun. So, you'd better train with all your might. Yes, ma'am. Nighttime. After finishing today's training and after lunch, it's time for the test of courage. Our stomachs are full and our plates are empty. The next is Pixie Bob said. The test of courage. Mina finished the phrase. Before that, I have something to tell you, Aizawa said. The failed ones will have a special lesson with me from now on. It can't be. I'm doing this because today's training was worse than I expected, Aizawa said as he dragged the failings with his bandages. Forgive us. Let us play. All right. Class B will be the first to scare you off. Class A will go out in pairs every 3 minutes. Halfway there are some letters with your name. You have to go back with them, Ragdoll explained. Scarers can't touch other people, but they can use their quirks to scare. The winning class is the one that makes the best use of their creativity, and the one that causes the most fear, Tiger said. Very well. It is time to make the pairs, and what better way than to make them randomly, Pixie Bob said. After a few minutes the pairs are ready. Pair 1, Takoyami and Shoji. Pair 2, Bakugo and Todoroki. Pair 3, Gyro and Hagakure. Pair 4, Yaoyorozu and Shinso. Pair 5, Uraraka and Tsuyu. Pair 6, Anjiro and Shiro. Pair 7, Ida and Aoyama. Pair 8, Izuku and Melissa. We are the 8th pair, will be the last to leave, Izuku said to Melissa. Sounds good to me, Melissa said. 21 minutes later. All right, Group 8, it's your turn, Pixie Bob said. Let's go, Izuku. An excited Melissa said. Izuku was about to follow her, but suddenly a burning smell stopped him. Hey, is it me or does it smell like something is burning? Come, now that you mention it, Pixie Bob said, and that the hero can see black smoke in the distance. Look, over there. Inside the forest we can see Danny burning several trees. Shut up. You'll come out when I say so, Dabai said to Nothing. I don't care what you say, this is my body and I decide when you go out. Behind Uraraka and Tsuyu, someone is approaching. Are you ready? Because I'm dying to do it, Toga said to Nothing. Don't worry, I'll let you go out and play for a while. In the middle of the forest, Mustard was creating a poisonous gas. That's right, sleep. Mandalay. You have to, Pixie Bob tried to say. However, something began to drag her so that later a piece of metal hit her in the face. The blow was so strong that it knocked her out. This kitten is a nuisance, said a villain, Magni, who was accompanied by Spinner. What are the villains doing here? Mandalay said. Koda-kun. Izuku thought. Aizawa is taking the 4 failings to the facility to continue with the remedial classes. Once entering the room, oh, this is really strange. The so-called top class, Class A, has 5 failing students. A blonde guy said, this is Monoma. From Class B only has 1. How weird. In addition to Monoma, Vlad King was also there. Vlad, I want them to do the exercises this time. But Aizawa started, however he was interrupted by Mandalay, who is using her quirk to communicate with everyone. Everyone, 2 villains have appeared. And there are probably more. Those who can return to the camp facilities immediately. If you run into any villains, do not engage them under any circumstances. Mandalay announced. Damn it, Vlad, stay with the students. I'll go see what happens, Aizawa said as he ran out of the building. Once outside, he could see how the entire forest is on fire. This is bad. So, you were the first out, Eraser, Dabai said, appearing next to Aizawa. Vlad, Aizawa tried to call his partner. However, a blue flame hit him. Greetings, UA High School. Spinner said, we are the Vanguard Action Squad. We're here. Ada said. Shiro and Anjiro arrived at the place. What's going on? What do you think will happen if I crush this lady's head? Magni said, pointing her weapon against Pixie Bob's head. I won't let you, Tiger said while charging against Magni. I know you, Spinner said as he pointed at Izuku. You are one of the 2 who defeated the hero killer. At that, Spinner draws his sword, which is a set of multiple swords tied into one. This will be interesting. No, it won't, Mandalay said as she attacked Spinner. Class president, you are in charge. In that, Mandalay realizes that someone is missing. Wait, where is Koda? Hearing those words, Izuku remembers the place where Koda is hiding. Ida-kun, take everyone to a safe place. But, now, after these words, Ida takes Anjiro and Shiro to the camp facilities. Mandalay, I know where Koda-kun is. After thinking for a few seconds, Mandalay makes a decision. Very well, Midoriya, I entrust you with Koda's security. Izuku started to head towards where Koda was. Izuku. However, Melissa calls him. I'm going with you. No, stay here. The Pussycats will need your help, Izuku said. But Melissa tried to say. However, something distracted them. Mandalay. What about Ragdoll? Tiger asked. I don't know. I can't communicate with her, Mandalay said. Izuku. Melissa said. Yes, I know, Mandalay, Izuku said, getting the hero's attention. Melissa can go see what happened to her, but she will need permission to fight. Granted. All right, now go, Izuku ordered. After this, both students headed to their destination, Evolution. They both shouted, transforming into Agunaman and Kazman, then headed to their destinations. Itsuka Kendo is trying to pull her teammates through the gas, using her quirk to make her hands bigger and cover them from the gas, and that she crosses paths with Shinso, who is transformed into Labaman. Shinso, seeing them, quickly seems to call someone. Yaoyorozu, Awase. There are more people here. At that, Yaoyorozu and a boy from Class B, Yosu Awase, come out of the forest, both with a gas mask. Here, Momo said as she handed each one a mask. What is happening? Itsuka asked while Tetsu arrived while carrying an unconscious Ibara in his arms. Villains are attacking the camp. We don't know how many they are, but one thing is for sure, one of them is causing this gas. We have to stop him, Shinso explained. What about the wounded? If we don't stop this gas, there will be more wounded. I guess you are right. Don't worry. Yaoyorozu managed to triangulate the villain's location. She and Awase will take care of carrying the wounded. I'll take care of the villain. You will need help, Tetsu said. Kendo and I will go with you. Very well, Yaoyorozu. Awase, will you be able to carry the wounded on your own? In that, Awase uses his quirk to weld the wounded to his and Yaoyorozu's body. Yeah, don't worry, we got them. Yosu Awase. Quirk, weld. Yosu's quirk gives him the ability to fuse objects together at an atomic level. Although he needs to be touching both objects in order to fuse them, this quirk is effective on both organic and inorganic material. Very well, Kendo. Tetsu, let's go, Shinso ordered, and the trio went in direction of the villain. After several minutes of running, they finally reached where the villain causing the gas was. We found you, Tetsu said. So, 3 against 1. That's a bit unfair at that. Mustard looks at Shinso. You are one of those chosen ones that Tamura says so much. Luckily, he gave me something in case I run into any of you. At that, Mustard snaps his fingers and a data portal opens behind him. A Digimon comes out of that portal. It wears long black pants with red flames on the legs and boots with skull designs on them. Its arms and torso are wrapped in chains, and it wears a skull-like metal mask on its face. Only its red eyes and dark blue hair can be seen. Blue flames burn on its upper body. What was your name? Mustard asked. Skull Merriman. That thing can talk, Kendo said. Shit, a Digimon. He looks too strong for them to take on him, Shinso thought. Right, Skull Merriman. Take care of him, Mustard said while pointing at Shinso. As you wish. After these words, Skull Merriman charges and takes Shinso away from there. Now we are fair, Mustard said. With Koda couldn't move at this moment. A hooded villain was in front of him. I came to look for a place with a good panoramic view, and look, I found you, the villain said. By the way, you have good taste in cats. Boy, exchange it for this mask. Koda tries to run from the villain. However, he appears in front of him. Do me that favor. From the villain's right arm came several muscle fibers that covered the arm. The hood also fell, and Koda could see the face of the villain. To his surprise, Koda recognized the face of the villain. It's you're the villain who Mom-Dad. Koda couldn't move. The villain, Muscular, was about to hit him. However, someone managed to get Koda out of the way. It was Izuku, transformed into Aguniman. Izuku positions himself between the villain and Koda. Don't worry, Koda-kun, I will save you. Who are you? Muscular asked. In that, the villain seems to be distracted for a moment, as if someone was telling him something. I see, so you are one of those chosen ones. What? How do you know that? Izuku asked. A little friend told me, Muscular said while pointing to his head. This is going to be so much fun. In that, Muscular charges against Izuku. Izuku does the same. With Bakugo and Todoroki, transformed into Paladramon, are heading to the camp facilities. Will this gas be a thing of the villains? Todoroki asked. Could it be, damn it? How come it's not affecting you? Bakugo asked. I don't know, Todoroki said. It might be because I'm transformed into a Digimon. In that, both boys meet someone halfway. That person is a fairly tall man who wears a black straitjacket that only leaves his mouth exposed. The suit is held together by black restraints decorated with red spikes. Meet the villain. Moonfish seems to detect the boy's presence. No, I have to do my job first, the villain said, and then turned to see the boy. With Melissa, transformed into Caseman, arrives at the place where Ragdoll is supposed to be. To her surprise, the place is somewhat destroyed. Oh no, I've arrived late in that. The girl could see a small trail of BLD, which stopped at what appears to be tank tire tracks. Melissa decides to follow the tracks. In the distance, an unconscious Ragdoll is being carried on the back of a Digimon. That Digimon has the appearance of a tank. Its name is Tankman. Damn it. Everyone is facing someone, and here I am carrying this human. What a waste of time for my abilities. You, stop right now and drop Ragdoll. Melissa, following the tracks, arrived at the place. Oh, one of Ancient Caseman's descendants. Are you coming to save this human? Tankman said as he dropped Ragdoll on the ground, quickly aiming its cannons at Melissa. In that case, you must beat me first. Izuku versus Muscular. All 4 battles of the Chosen Ones occur at the same time. Izuku jumps to dodge Muscular's attack, quickly preparing his own attack, Pyro Punch, hitting the villain. However, the villain was not affected by the attack in the slightest. Quickly attacking with a punch, the villain sends Izuku crashing into the mountain wall. Haha. Is that all you have? How pathetic. This is just the warm-up, Izuku said before pointing his wrists at Muscular. Fire darts, quickly shooting multiple small fireballs at the villain. Muscular covers himself from the attack with his arms. Izuku takes advantage of that too. Advance while shooting. Once close, Voltic Strike. Izuku performs a flaming kick, which makes the villain go back a couple of steps. However, he still seems to be unaffected by the attacks. Yes, this is much better. This is the kind of fight I like. Muscular drawing to then cover his body with muscle fibers and charge at Izuku. This time at a speed that the boy could barely react, receiving a strong punch to the face. Midair, Izuku recovers. Salaman Rider Kick. With the momentum of Muscular's blow, Izuku performs a flaming jump kick, which is blocked by the villain, who laughs maniacally as he begins to throw several punches at Izuku. Gatlin Burst. Izuku counterattacks are multiple fire punches, which hit Muscular's. Yes, entertain me, Muscular said in one of the blows. Muscular catches Izuku's arm with his muscle fibers and punches him in the stomach, bringing Izuku to his knees from the blow. However, this does not defeat Izuku, who catches his breath and manages to dodge a kick from the villain. Pyro Tornado. Izuku quickly unleashes a whirlwind kick of flames. This attack is strong enough that it sends Muscular flying and crashing into the mountain. Koda, who was watching the match, was very surprised. You defeated him. Izuku gave Koda a smile. However, he could hear Muscular getting up. No, not yet. Once Muscular gets up, he sees Izuku with a different expression than before. Interesting, you managed to defeat this guy. What are you talking about? Izuku asked. However, he already had a vague idea of what was going on. Stain is not the only one who received a gift from Tamura suddenly. Muscular's body began to be surrounded by black mud. For a few seconds later, a different figure appeared. Instead of Muscular, a wooden android Digimon built in the style of Karakuri puppets appeared. Hello, Aguniman. He is one of the descendants of the rest of the legendary warriors, Izuku thought. Who are you? Right, you guys are humans with the powers of legendary warriors. My name is Arborman and I will take care of defeating you. Tamura wants a human named Katsuki Bakugo. I don't know why, but if Tamura wants him, he will have him. Bakugo. Why? That doesn't matter at the moment. I have to defeat him and recover the spirit from Shigaraki's hands. Shinso vs. Skull Merriman. Shinso crashes into a tree after receiving Skull Merriman's attack. A Digimon. Should have expected it. I just hope Kendo and Tetsu managed to beat the gas villain, Shinso thought as Skull Merriman landed in front of him. Alright, it's time to fight. Howling Laser. Shinso gathers energy to the weapon on his wrist and releases it in a burst of light energy. Metal Fireball. Metal Merriman launches a destructive ball of melted metal from its mouth. Both attacks collide. However, Shinso keeps attacking. Two victors. Shinso connects the two licked short and then attacks Skull Merriman. However, Shinso cannot get close. Metal Mayman uses his chains as whips, preventing Shinso from getting close. The chains are so strong that Shinso cannot cut them with his swords. Goddamn, those chains are very annoying. In one of those, a chain took Shinso by the leg. Skull Merriman takes advantage of this to stamp Shinso against the ground repeatedly until the chain releases him. What's up, Loboman? Is that all your power? Where is your animal spirit? Why don't you use it? I would use it if I could. Shinso spreads his swords before attacking. Lobo Kendo, Licked Victor Alpha, Licked Victor Beta, Licked Victor Upsilon. Shinso attacks the enemy with his combination of slashes with his swords. However, Skull Merriman manages to block the attacks with his chains. After several seconds like this, Shinso decides to distance himself from the enemy. It is quite strong. This fight will be difficult. Shoto and Bakugo vs. Moonfish. The villain uses his quirk, in that his teeth transform into blades which are directed against the students. Shoto creates ice to defend himself from the villain's attack. However, the blades are so sharp that they destroy the ice created. Very sharp in that dodge several blades, while Bakugo uses his explosions to dodge two. Ice Age. Shoto uses his ice beam to freeze some blades. Bakugo takes advantage of this to destroy them with his explosions. However, this was not enough. Moonfish continues to attack with more blades. FCK. This guy never gets tired. Bakugo said. We have to defeat him. This guy will cause a lot of problems if he meets with the rest of the villains, Shoto said while dodging the blade. Don't tell me what to do. Moonfish continues to attack with his knives, causing both boys to keep backing away. They are too many. I can't freeze them all. Todoroki said. Damn snowflake. You suck. Bakugo said as he dodged the blades. He couldn't use his explosions properly since the blades limited the space. These blades are too annoying. If only I could stop them from coming out more. In that, Todoroki looks at the villain. His entire body is covered by his clothes, except for one point. His mouth. That's it. Bakugo. Get ready. Todoroki begins to approach Moonfish, despite being hurt little by the blades. He manages to get close enough to Ice Age. Shoto fires his ice beam straight into Moonfish's mouth. Due to the attack, Moonfish gets distracted trying to destroy the ice in his mouth, leaving himself exposed. Now, don't tell me what to do. Howitzer impact. Bakugo makes a gigantic explosion which sends Moonfish flying, destroying several of the blades in the place. Both boys relax. However, Moonfish gets up without much effort. Both boys prepare for combat. However, a giant hand made of shadows hits Moonfish with incredible force that not only makes him fly, but also destroys his teeth and renders him unconscious. The cause of this, an uncontrolled dark shadow. Bakugo, calm down Dark Shadow with your explosions, Shoji said while drawing Dark Shadow. Bakugo unleashes a huge explosion that sends Dark Shadow back inside Takoyami. Thanks, Takoyami said. Are you okay? Todoroki asked. Yeah, luckily we were able to contain Dark Shadow before he did any more damage, Shoji said. We'd better get back to camp. There are sure to be more villains there. The Pussycats will need our help. And what about the order not to face any villain? Shoji asked. At this point, I don't think it matters. I mean, we don't know how many villains there are in total, so we have to defend ourselves. True, let's go, Shoji said. Bakugo, let's go, Todoroki said. But to his surprise, no one answered him. Bakugo. I'm sorry, I saw that they were so distracted that I decided to take it. A villain standing on a tree branch said. That villain is a tall, slim man with pale skin and brown eyes that are semicircular and slightly slanted inwards. And he has a notably pointed nose. He wears a combination of a mask, balaclava, and hat. Underneath his mask reveals that he has short black eyebrows and a head of curly brown hair of similar shade to his eyes. He wears a dark orange shirt, the collar left upturned, and a green striped bolo necktie with an oval-shaped azure brooch hanging around his neck, a black waistcoat and black dress pants. He wears knee-high white boots with wedged heels and black toe caps, plain dark red gloves, and a tall brown top hat, a red ribbon tied around it and a pale feather sticking out on the left side. The villain, Mr. Compress, shows a small blue sphere, which contains Bakugo inside. "Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm leaving," he said before leaving, jumping through the trees. "Shit, Shoji, you and Takoyami go back to camp. I'll go after that guy," Todoroki said, and without giving them a chance to reply, he starts chasing after the villain. Melissa vs. Tankman. Machine gun arms. Tankman starts shooting with his machine gun hands. Melissa starts to fly to dodge the shots. Once the shooting ends, Melissa prepares to fight back. Flowery gust. Quickly kicking Tankman twice. However, Tankman manages to withstand the attacks almost without any damage. It has a very strong defense. "You'll never get past my defense," Tankman said. Machine gun arms. The shooting resumed. Melissa does her best to dodge the shots. Luckily, Tankman has a hard time doing it thanks to her being able to fly, and it's harder to hit a target in the air. Once again, when the shooting ends, Melissa lands in front of Tankman. Tempest twist. She then performs a handstand and unleashes a whirlwind kick. Unfortunately, Tankman manages to resist the attack. In that, Tankman manages to take Melissa by one of her legs, hyper cannon, and then fires a super powerful missile from the gun barrel on its head, which hits Melissa and sends her crashing against a tree. However, the attack is not over yet. Machine gun arms. Tankman starts shooting in the direction where Melissa crashed. This time the girl couldn't fly in time and the shots did reach their target. "Haha, is that all you got?" Tankman said, but to his surprise a kick hit him in the stomach. When he saw who it was, he could see Melissa, with some wounds from the shots, giving her a strong kick. Melissa moved so fast that Tankman couldn't see the attack. "Of course not. Do you think that with my speed and agility I would allow you to take my leg by surprise?" In that, Melissa rises a bit and points her hands at Tankman. "I just let you attack me so I could take you by surprise." Hurricane wave. She then throws long, thin tornadoes erupting from her fingertips. These tornadoes hit Tankman and manage to knock him down. However, the Digimon manages to recover. "Not bad, but that's not enough to beat me." Machine gun arms. Tankman said to start shooting. Melissa takes cover behind a rock to avoid the shots. Looks like that wasn't enough, Melissa thought, in that she remembers that she still had a few attacks that she hasn't used yet. Remembering those attacks, the girl blushes a little. "I don't want to use those attacks, but I think I have no choice." When the shots stop, Melissa flies in the direction of Tankman. Love tap. She then hits Tankman with her buttocks. The Digimon doesn't seem affected by the attack. However, a few seconds later, it can't be. It's the beautiful Kazman. Hearts appeared in Tankman's eyes. The side effect of love tap is that the enemy falls in love with me, although it can fail. Luckily this time it worked. Otherwise this would have been very embarrassing. Which it already is, Melissa thought with a slight blush of embarrassment. "Hey Tankman, isn't it true that you will do anything for my love?" "Of course," Tankman said. "In that case let me destroy you." Melissa said. "Anything for you," Tankman said as he exposed himself to Melissa. "Wait a second." Hurricane wave. Taking advantage of the moment, Melissa launches tornadoes from her fingers which hit Tankman directly. Being exposed, he is destroyed by the attack, exploding into data. "Perfect, I just hope I don't have to defeat all my enemies this way." After this, Melissa takes a still unconscious ragdoll in her arms and proceeds to fly in the direction of the camp. With Tsuyu and Ochako, Uraraka and Tsuyu are facing Toga. The villain managed to take them by surprise and draw BLD from Uraraka before Tsuyu separated her from her friend. "I'll need more BLD than this," Toga said before pulling out a couple of knives and charging at the girls. Tsuyu uses her tongue to push Uraraka away from the attack. Unfortunately, Toga manages to hit Tsuyu's tongue, making a cut. "Tsuyu-chan," Uraraka screamed. "Tsuyu-chan, I like that name also. Your quirk is very cute. She would like to meet you." What is she talking about?" Tsuyu thought. "Forget it. Only my friends can call me that." "In that case I will also be your friend," Toga said as she caught Tsuyu in a tree, quickly starting to draw BLD from Tsuyu. However, Uraraka manages to sneak behind Toga and manages to grab her by the arm and throw her against a tree. "Tsuyu-chan, are you okay?" Uraraka asked. "Yes, don't worry about my tongue. It heals fast," Tsuyu said, showing her tongue, which is already healed. "You girls don't fight that bad," Toga said as he got up from the ground, and that he seems to be distracted for a second and then smile. "It seems that there is someone who wants to meet you." After this, Toga charges against the girls, but while running, black mud began to cover. Tsuyu attacks with her tongue. However, Toga jumps and manages to dodge the attack and land on a tree branch. But to the surprise of the girls, Toga's appearance changed. Her appearance is that of a girl with bluish-green skin. Her clothes are now blue with navy blue details. His eyes are red with black pupils. "Hello everyone. The beautiful Ranaman delights you with her presence," said the girl. Ranaman, Tsuyu and Uraraka thought. "Ew, the frog-like girl, I really like appearance. I bet you are my fan." Ranaman said, flattering Tsuyu's appearance. "Your fan? I don't even know you," Tsuyu said while attacking with her tongue. Ranaman dodges the attack and lands between the girls, quickly attacking Uraraka with a kick, sending her crashing into a rock, leaving her alone against Tsuyu in that. Ranaman takes her by the chin. "Don't be shy, you are not the first to be my fan, but you are definitely my favorite fan. It is a pity that we are on enemy sides. Otherwise we would be great friends." After these words, Ranaman uses the moisture of the place to create water and attack Tsuyu to then send her flying with Uraraka. "Alright, it's time to finish this." Toga-chan was told to get BLD from at least 6 people and she only has 2. No hard feelings, but I must eliminate you. Ranaman jumps up to attack the girls. However, she is greeted by a mid-air kick to the face. The culprit, Melissa, who has just arrived. "Achako, Tsuyu, are you okay?" Melissa asked, landing in front of them. The girls were surprised to see her, especially that she is carrying Ragdoll in her arms. Ranaman gets up from the ground. Seeing who the cause of the attack was, his BLD began to boil. "You!" Ranaman screamed. "What are you doing here?" Tamura only mentioned the one of ice, light and fire. "I bet you're here to take Agunaman away from me." What? Agunaman? Are you referring to Izuku? Izuku, Agunaman, whatever you want to call him. You won't take it from me. In that, Ranaman seems to be distracted by something so fast. "Looks like you got lucky, Kazman. Next time you won't be so lucky. I won't let you take Agunaman from me." Ubita-ch. After this, Ranaman leaves the place. Melissa remained motionless for a few seconds. After processing what happened, her BLD begins to boil. "What did she call me?" In that, she proceeds to give Ragdoll to Tsuyu and Uraraka. "Tsuyu, Achako, take Ragdoll to the camp. I won't let that beach get away with it." Without letting the girls say anything, Melissa quickly flies after Ranaman. "Is it me, or does that seem to be something personal?" Achako said. "We better not investigate the matter. Let's take Ragdoll back to camp," Tsuyu said. Izuku vs. Arborman. Roundhouse punt. Arborman attacks Izuku with several punches and kicks. Meanwhile, the boy dodges them as best he can. He is already starting to get tired. Fire darts. Izuku starts shooting his fireballs at Arborman, who easily manages to dodge the attack. Blockade seed. Arborman quickly fires a seed-like bomb from its mouth. Once they touch Izuku, from these, branches begin to sprout and bind Izuku, making it impossible for him to move. Roundhouse punt. Arborman attacks Izuku with several punches and kicks. This time Izuku can't dodge the blows and takes them all. Izuku falls to the ground. He is very tired. Once again he receives a punch from Arborman which causes him to fall, face down, to the ground and return to his human form. Arborman dissolves into black mud and Muscular appears in his place. "What? Oh, I see," Muscular said, seeing Izuku on the ground. "You want me to deal the final blow for me? Perfect." Muscular is about to hit Izuku on the head, ready to kill him. However, a jet of water wets him. "Stop!" Koda yelled. He was the cause of the water jet. "What do you want, kid? Do you want me to kill you first?" Muscular asked. "If you want it so much, I'll kill you first." Muscular starts walking towards Koda, unaware that Izuku's fist is closing. Shinso vs. Skull Merriman. Shinso continues to dodge Skull Merriman's chain attacks. "Damn it! It is too persistent," Shinso thought. The chain is being very annoying. Howling laser. Shinso fires a laser of light at Skull Merriman. This time the laser manages to hit its target. However, from the smoke a chain entangles Shinso which immobilizes him. "You are weak," Skull Merriman said in that. The Digimon sets his chain on fire, doing a lot of damage to Shinso, but it doesn't end here. Taking advantage of Shinso's entanglement in his chain, Skull Merriman starts hitting him against the ground, trees and rocks multiple times, to finish crashing him against soil. Once the smoke clears, Shinso, in his human form, is on the ground. Suddenly, Mustard's gas begins to wear off. It seems that those humans defeated Mustard. I have to get rid of them. Skull Merriman starts to leave. However, Shinso starts to clench his fist. Izuku and Shinso at the same time. "I won't let you hurt Koda-kun," Izuku says as he struggles to get up. "I won't let you go. I'm not defeated yet," Shinso says as he struggles to get up. "You are still alive. You can still fight." Muscular and Skull Merriman said. Izuku and Shinso's D-scans begin to glow this time. Multiple data wheels appeared on the boys' right hands. Execute. The D-scans touch the data. Beast Spirit Evolution. The data surrounds the boys. Inside the data, fire began to surround Izuku as he let out a roar. Beams of light begin to surround Shinso as he let out a roar. 2 screens begin to surround Izuku, one in front and one behind. In both screens you can see a red armor, but unlike Agunaman's, this one looks more savage. 2 screens begin to surround Shinso. one in front and one behind. In both screens you can see a gray armor, but unlike Lavaman's, this one looks more savage. Once the screens make contact with Izuku, he lets out one last roar. Once the screens make contact with Shinso, he lets out one last roar. Seconds later the transformations are complete. Burning Greymon, divided by Kendo Garuruman. Izuku and Shinso, the chosen ones of fire and light, have unlocked the animal spirits. Izuku transformed into Burning Greymon, a dragon Digimon with avian characteristics. Although it is a beast Digimon, it normally stands upright like a human. Its head has a bird-like beak, albeit filled with razor-sharp teeth, blue, raptor eyes, and is almost entirely covered by silver helmet with crimson stripes and emblem. And the Greymon species horns, it has flaming, feathered wings and sharp claws on each of its limbs, and its muscular body is covered with crimson armor, inlaid with silver panels and gold etchings. Both of its forearms are equipped with triangular, golden superweapons called Rudriya Darpana, and its thick tail is armored. Shinso transformed into Kendo Garuruman, a quadrupedal Digimon in the form of a wolf, and wears white armor with purple stripes all over its body. On his back he seems to carry two swords or sabers that he uses as wings to attack the rival when he runs towards him at high speed. Also say that it has a pair of wheels on the back of each leg to propel it and thus acquire extra speed in the middle of the back. It seems to carry a kind of cannon through which it shoots rays of light at the enemy. Izuku versus Muscular, Arborman. Izuku lets out a roar and charges at Muscular. So, you still have energy, huh? Muscular said, I like it. Wait, I can still fight. Muscular was covered by black mud and in his place Arborman appeared. I'm sorry, but you can't do anything against him, Arborman said, in that he tried to attack Izuku with a punch. However, Izuku caught his fist with his hand as if it was nothing. Oh no. Izuku lets out a roar right at Arborman's face and then slams him into the mountain. He then fires lasers from the Rudriya Darpana towards Arborman, causing a lot of damage to his enemy. Arborman comes out of the debris quite hurt. You asked for it, Arborman. Slide Digivolve to Petaldraman. Arborman's appearance changed. Now it resembles a lizard made of wood. On top of it there seems to be green moss, and its head is made of wood surrounded by flower petals. Leaf Cyclone. Petaldraman releases a cyclone of leaves from its nostrils. However, Izuku just lets out another roar and sets its whole body aflame, then releases a high-temperature tornado by flapping the fire wings. The tornado is strong enough that it destroys Petaldraman's cyclone and hits him. Petaldraman takes quite a bit of damage from the attack. However, Izuku continues to attack repeatedly with his claws quite wildly, not letting Petaldraman defend himself effectively. Suddenly the attacks cease. However, this was only for Izuku to let out a roar and then tackle Petaldraman while covered in flames. Petaldraman barely manages to get up, though Thorn Jab, a very tired and weak Petaldraman said before stabbing its tail into the ground, causing vines to burst from the earth and entangle its foes. These vines take Izuku and begin to trap him. However, Izuku only roars, and another fire tornado destroys the vines and then fires lasers from his Rudriya Darpana against Petaldraman. The attack hits Petaldraman, completely defeating him and causing him to disintegrate into black sludge, Muscular appearing instead. What happened? It's the only thing he managed to say since Izuku sent him crashing into the mountain in one blow, leaving him unconscious. Kota, who watched the entire match, couldn't do anything but look at Izuku in that. He remembered Mandalay's words, someday, you will find someone who will risk their life to save you. Apparently that someone turned out to be Izuku, my hero. Just at that moment Aizawa arrived at the place. Seeing the panorama, Aizawa approached Kota but was surprised to see Izuku. Although he is different, Aizawa recognized him, especially because of the fire, Midoriya. However, what happened surprised the hero. Izuku, instead of saying anything to him, turned sharply to see him, giving off an aura of a wild animal and ready to attack, slowly approaching the hero. As if hunting him, Aizawa takes Kota in his arms and prepares to escape if for some reason something bad happens. Izuku is in front of Aizawa. He watches him for several seconds. Suddenly a roar in the distance catches his attention. Izuku turns in the direction of the noise and lets out a roar of his own, after which he flies off in the direction of the roar. That's an animal spirit. It's the only thing Aizawa could think of, after which he decides to take Kota to a safe place. However, he fails to realize that from Muscular's body two digital spirits emerged, the human spirit and the animal spirit of wood, which fly off in an unknown direction. Shinso versus Skull Merriman. Shinso lets out a roar and charges at Skull Merriman. Metal Fireball, Skull Merriman said as he launches a destructive ball of melted metal from his mouth. Shinso let out a roar and then fired a beam of light from his mouth, which hit the enemy attack. However, this does not end here. Shinso begins to run quickly and uses his blade wings, Claymore wings, to cut his enemy multiple times. Finally, he finishes the assault with a lunge that knocks Skull Merriman down. Skull Merriman struggles to get up, then starts attacking with his chains. At the same time he set them on fire. Die. The chain was about to hit Shinso. However, Shinso manages to break the chain with one bite. He then leaps into the air while spinning with blades extended. The blades start cutting Skull Merriman many times. Once Skull Merriman falls to the ground, Shinso lets out a roar and runs at high speed to cut his rival into pieces. Impossible. Those were Skull Merriman's last words as Shinso fired one last beam of light from his mouth, defeating him completely and causing all of Skull Merriman's pieces to explode into data. After this, Shinso looks at the moon and lets out a gigantic roar. After a few seconds, another roar is heard from afar. Shinso goes in the direction of that roar. Melissa is flying at full speed. She lost sight of her target. However, it seemed that her target was straight ahead. As she flew, she met Todoroki, who was also flying in the same direction. Todoroki, Melissa said. Melissa, what are you doing here? Todoroki asked. I'm following a villain. Apparently she went this way, Melissa said. What about you? A villain captured Bakugo. I followed him here. Apparently, they are meeting up further down this way, Todoroki explained. In that case, let's hurry up. We have to rescue Bakugo, Melissa said, so that after both of them fly in the direction that Todoroki indicated. Villain's meeting point. Dabai is waiting for his allies. Next to him is another villain, who is dressed in a black full body suit with gray details. This villain is Twice. Damn it, where are they? An impatient Dabai asked. Do not be impatient, I'm already bored, Twice said in a strange way, as if he had a split personality. Dabai was about to answer, but in the distance, he could see the animal and human spirits of the wood approaching, so Muscular was beaten. What a pity, divided by I don't care, Twice said. Dabai takes the spirits, in that Ranman arrives, finally. How much BLD did Toga manage to get? Let's see, I think she got 2 samples from 2 people. 2. Hadn't she said she'd at least get 3? Dabai asked. Don't look at me. I just wanted to say hello to my fans. In fact, I found a girl who is my #1 fan. In that, Spinner and Magni arrive. Good, I'll give you 1 more minute. If no one else shows up, we'll leave. Mr. Compress arrives at that moment. We will not leave without fulfilling our mission, right? He asked and then showed the small sphere in which he has Bakugo trapped. Well done, Compress, Dabai said. No need to sing victory yet. We have unexpected guests, Mr. Compress said, so that Melissa and Shinso landed behind him. Damn it, Dabai said before being covered by black mud, and in his place a Digimon appeared. That Digimon appearance is derived from the mythological No, a diminutive but humanoid chthonic entity defined by Paracelsus as an earth elemental. It also has the bulbous nose of the mythological troll. Another chthonic entity in Scandinavian folklore. It wields the Grot Hammer and can summon more than one of them. His name is Grumble. Jack in the Box. Grumbleman jumps out of the ground and attacks Todoroki with his Grot Hammer. For his part, Ranman attacks Melissa with a kick. Todoroki creates a wall of ice to cover himself from the attack. However, Grumbleman destroys it, but manages to stop his advance. Melissa covers herself from Ranman's kick and counterattacks with hers, which is dodged by her rival. So, the one chosen by Ancient Caseman also joined the rest, Grumbleman said. So is, and I will help defeat Shigaraki, Melissa said. I hate her, Ranman said. Both sides were about to attack each other again. However, someone lands in the middle of both sides. Izuku, Burning Grayman arrived at the battlefield. Burning Grayman, an excited Ranman said, although I prefer Agunaman, you are also very handsome. Izuku doesn't seem to pay attention to Ranman's words upon closer inspection. Grumbleman seems to realize what is happening. Ranman, let Toga come back. What? Why? Ranman asked. You just listen to me, Grumbleman said before melting into black mud, and Dabai appeared in his place. Ranman reluctantly does the same, making Toga appear. Dabai was about to ask what happened. However, Grumbleman seems to be telling him something in his subconscious. This makes him smile. Hey, Burning Grayman, Dabai yelled, and at that moment, Izuku turned to look at him. Look, there are rivals who want to fight, Dabai said, pointing at Melissa and Todoroki. Izuku turns to see the duo, and after a few seconds of just seeing them, he lets out a roar and charges at them. Melissa and Todoroki dodge the attack. Izuku, what are you doing? Let's get out of here, Dabai said. At that moment, a mist portal appears, and the group of villains leaves the place, with Bakugo captured. No, divided by Bakugo, Melissa and Todoroki yelled as they dodged Izuku's fierce attacks. Izuku, stop, it's us, Melissa said. I think he can't hear us, Todoroki said. It also doesn't seem like he's aware of what he's doing. We have to stop him before he hurts someone. Right. After this, both try to stop Izuku in the best way they can. Ice Age. Todoroki launched an ice beam that began to freeze Izuku's body. However, Izuku only used a tornado of fire to destroy the ice. Hurricane Wave. Melissa shoots tornadoes from her fingers. However, Izuku only covers himself with his arms and manages to resist the attack. He is very strong, so this is the power of animal spirits. Izuku lets out a roar and charges at Melissa and Todoroki, both preparing to attack. However, before Izuku can get to them, someone rams him and crashes him into a tree. Seeing who it was, Todoroki and Melissa saw that it was Shinso, in his Kendo Garuruman form, who let out a roar towards Izuku, who got up from the ground. Izuku lets out a roar and they both charge at each other. Once they collide, both begin to struggle against the other. Is that Shinso? Melissa asked. It seems to be, apparently. He also unlocked the animal spirit, Todoroki said. We have to calm them down, we can't leave them like this. Who knows what they might do while they're out of control. You try to calm down Midoriya, I'll calm Shinso down. Okay, Melissa said before shooting tornadoes at Izuku. Todoroki fires an ice beam at Shinso, both of them managing to make their target focus on them. I'm sorry, Izuku, but I need you to calm down, please, Melissa said as she dodged Izuku's savage attacks. In one of those attacks, Melissa manages to knock Melissa down. The girl falls to the ground and Izuku jumps and lands on top of her. With his right hand, he grabs her by the neck and begins to crush her on the ground. Melissa can feel how short of breath she is. Izuku, please stop. It's me, I can't breathe. The girl began to speak with difficulty. Out of desperation, she could only say one thing. Someone help me. However, those words seem to repeat themselves in Izuku's mind. Help me. Izuku starts to remember. Flashback. Many years ago, Inko Midoriya, when she was still skinny, is sitting on the floor with a blanket covering her. Help me, Inko said in a playful tone. In that, the door opens and an Izuku between 3 and 4 years old appears. The boy is dressed in an All Might onesie. I'm here, little Izuku yelled. Inko quickly hugs her son. Thank you very much, All Might. At that, Inko lets out a giggle. So, all this time, All Might was you, Izuku. Flashback end. This memory made Izuku finally regain control of his transformation. That he can finally control himself? What happened? Izuku said, something disoriented. He doesn't remember what happened. The last thing he remembers is fighting Muscular and transforming. But after that, he only remembers black and that he realizes that he is hurting Melissa. He quickly releases her and backs away. Melissa, I am sorry. I don't know what happened. I don't remember anything. Catching her breath, Melissa hugs Izuku. Izuku, you're back. I'm glad you're back. Izuku, blushing, returns the hug. I'm sorry to interrupt your romantic moment, but I need help, Todoroki said as he dodged Shisno's wild attacks. Blushing, Izuku and Melissa break the hug. All right, Todoroki, step aside, Izuku said. In that, Todoroki moves away and Izuku manages to immobilize Shinso thanks to the fact that they both have a similar power. Melissa and Todoroki support Izuku and manage to immobilize Shinso's legs, who is trying to free himself from the hold. Shinso-kun, calm down please. We are not your enemies. We are your friends. Your friends. These words repeated in Shinso's head. Flashback. Hey, watch out for Shinso. He might use his quirk to make you do his homework for him. A student, Shinso's classmate from high school, said quietly to another. However, Shinso could hear them. His quirk is perfect for that of a villain. Brainwashing spooky, another student said. I don't think he can be a hero with a quirk like that. After school. Damn it, Shinso screamed as he hit the ground. I'm going to show everyone. I'm going to become a great hero. Not matter how. At that, a spirit appeared in front of him. Ancient Garuruman. In that case, let me help you. UA entrance exam. Shinso destroyed another robot that was about to hit another participant, who was distracted. Upon landing, he can feel something familiar about the participant he saved. Apparently, the other participant feels the same. After saving Uraraka, after discovering that he is not the only chosen one, Shinso can feel that this is his chance to finally have some friend. Someone who appreciates him for who he is and doesn't judge him. Shinso extends his arm. See you at UA, my friend. The other boy, Izuku Midoriya, smiles and returns his handshake. Yes, flashback end. Shinso finally stops struggling. The rest release him. What happened? It seems that you unlocked the animal spirit, but lost control of the transformation, Todoroki said. I see. Wait, what happened to the villains? Izuku asked. Melissa and Todoroki hesitated to tell them what happened. However, sooner or later they will find out. Well, an explanation later. What? Shinso said. Bakugo, it's my fault, Izuku said. It is not. You weren't in control of your transformation, Melissa said. If I hadn't lost control, Izuku said. Melissa is right. It's not your fault. You changed for a reason. You couldn't know that this would happen, Todoroki said. But, Midoriya, if it hadn't been you, it would have been me. Remember, I was out of control too. You'll see that they will manage to save Bakugo, Shinso said. His friend's words managed to calm Izuku. Yes, you are right, thank you guys. After this, the boys decided to return to the camp tonight. The good guys were defeated. The ambulances and firemen arrived 15 minutes after the departure of the villains of the 40 students. 15 lost consciousness and became critically ill due to the gas. 9 students were seriously injured and 15 were uninjured. 1 student disappeared. Of the 6 professional heroes, 1 suffered a head injury. She is in critical condition. The other lost a lot of BLD, but she would survive if it hadn't been for Melissa, who explained what happened. She would have been kidnapped by the villains. On the side of the villains, 3 were caught and immediately arrested. One of the 3, Muscular, seems to have lost all notion of consciousness. His body is alive, but his mind is absent. The rest of the villains disappeared without a trace. Training camp came to an end with the worst possible result. Hospital. Izuku was discharged the same day he arrived. His injuries are only minor, as his transformations are the ones that take the most hits. Very well, Midoriya-san, you are free to go. Luckily you don't have serious injuries. Just try to rest and everything will be fine, the doctor said. Thanks. By the way, a boy came and wanted us to deliver this to you, the doctor said as he hands Izuku a letter. Midoriya-san, I'm sorry I hit you there. Thank you for saving me without knowing anything about me. Get well soon so I can thank you in person. Coda. Izuku smiled at the letter. After that, Izuku prepares to leave the hospital. Midoriya. A voice stops him. It was Kirishima, accompanied by the rest of Class A, at least those who were not unconscious, and Bakugo, of course. Guys, what's going on? While we're here, Todoroki and I heard All Might and a policeman talking to Yaoyorozu, Kirishima said. Apparently, she and a waste from Class B managed to put a tracker on a villain. The one that looks like a reptile, I think. While he was going back to the rest of the villains, we think maybe Yaoyorozu can make us another device. No, we have to let the professionals take over. Ada said, this is not something we can do. We know that. But Todoroki said, Bakugo was captured in front of me, and I couldn't do anything to avoid it. If I don't do anything, I can't call myself a hero. Kirishima said, Midoriya, we can still save him, right? Kirishima said while extending his arm to Izuku. Do you plan to go out and rescue him by yourselves? Ida asked. Even though we were targeted by the villains, they took Bakugo without killing him. They may need him alive, Todoroki said. I will go with Kirishima. No, I understand that you are frustrated, but this is not the time to be carried away by feelings, Shoji said. We have to let All Might and the heroes handle this. Plus they revoked our authorization to fight, Takoyami said. We are all shocked by Bakugo-chan's kidnapping, however. Let's be reasonable. No matter how you feel, if you guys get involved in the battle Tsuyu started, if you break the rules, your actions won't be different from the villains. This made everyone quiet. Well, we better get going. Zero broke the silence. We have to go see Gyro and Hagakure. They haven't woken up from their coma yet. As everyone leaves, Kirishima approaches Izuku. I already talked to Yaoyorozu. If we do, we have to leave immediately. Tonight I know you also want to save him, Kirishima whispered to Izuku. However, their conversation was overheard by 2 people. Nighttime. Outside the hospital, Todoroki and Kirishima are waiting outside the hospital. Yaoyorozu said that she would think about it. I hope she helps us, Kirishima said. I hope so, even if we lose patience. Everything depends on her, Todoroki said. In that, Yaoyorozu leaves the hospital. With a bandage in her head, however, she was not alone. Izuku is with her. Midoriya, Kirishima said with a smile. Yaoyorozu, what is your answer? Yaoyorozu was going to reply. However, someone cuts her off. Wait, that person is Melissa, followed by Shinzo. We're going too. Melissa, Izuku said. I heard what Kirishima said. I couldn't stop Bakugo from being kidnapped either, so I'm going too, Melissa said. Also, I trust you guys have a plan to rescue Bakugo without a fight. Kirishima smiles at this. That's right. This will be an undercover operation. I trust all of you. I was planning on going, but I know that Melissa will stop you if you come up with something, Yaoyorozu said as she handed the tracking device to the girl. Also, I haven't been released from the hospital yet, so I'd better stay. Thank you, Yaoyorozu. All right, it's time to go, Kirishima said. After this, the group of 5 left in the direction indicated by the tracker. Villain's bar. Bakugo opens his eyes in that he can see the villains. Kurogiri, Toga, Dabai, Magni, Mr. Compressin, Spinner, Shigaraki and Twice were missing. What the fuck is happening? Oh, nothing, Shigaraki said as he and Twice entered the room. How are you feeling, Twice? Very good, my mental problems are gone after receiving your gift, Twice said. Shigaraki nodded. You already know what to do, Shigaraki said. Twice leaves the place. The rest of the villains follow him. Shigaraki addresses Bakugo. Katsuki, Bakugo, do you know why you are here? Of course, I'm so strong that you want me to join you, Bakugo said with a smile. Well, a pity for you. I'm not going to join some idiots. Shigaraki laughs at these words. Who do you think I am? An idiot. You are just a bait to attract All Might. This surprises Bakugo. What the fuck are you talking about? Now that All Might has passed the torch to someone else, he has become unnecessary to my plans, Shigaraki said. Then the rest of the villains enter the room. All Might's hero days end tonight. The 5 students who decided to save Bakugo are on their way to the location indicated by the tracker. At the moment they are going by train until they reach Kamino. Did the others say anything about this plan? Izuku asked. Yes, they tried to stop us, Todoroki said. Uraraka said some harsh words to us, Kirishima said. Small flashback. I'm sure Bakugo will feel very ungrateful if you save him. Flashback end. In any case, listen up, Todoroki said. No matter how you look at it, we are doing this driven by our egos and feelings of guilt. It's not too late if you decide to retire. If I wasn't sure, I wouldn't have suggested this in the first place, Kirishima said. It was partially my fault that Bakugo was captured. My power went out of control and prevented you from avoiding his capture. I must do this, Izuku said. Izuku, that wasn't your fault, Melissa tried to say. You don't have to keep beating yourself up about it. I know, still I can't help but feel guilty, Izuku said. A few minutes later, here we are, Kamino Ward, Kirishima said. The villains are hiding somewhere in this city, Izuku said. Very good. Melissa, you have the tracker. Where do we have to go? Kirishima asked. Keep calm, please. If we're not careful, the villains will realize we're here. We have to proceed with great caution, Melissa said. True, this is a stealth mission, Izuku said as he puts on his sweater cap. If you allow me, I think I have a solution, Melissa said while pointing to a clothing store. A few minutes later, Izuku walks out of the changing room. However, he is not dressed as usual. He was wearing blue pants, a red shirt under a blue jacket, and wearing a chain around his neck along with sunglasses covering his eyes, and his hair was thrown up in the air. Oh yeah, he said with a fake aggressive tone. Next up was Todoroki, who wore purple pants along with a white shirt with a purple vest over it and wore a black wig. I see, disguises. Kirishima wore brown pants with a matching brown jacket and a white tank top underneath. His hair that was usually always on end was now flat and spiky, and he had what appeared to be horns on his head. Nice. Shinso's hair was slicked back and completely straight. He was wearing a black sleeveless vest and a white long-sleeved shirt underneath. He was wearing black jeans and white tennis shoes, in addition to having a fake mustache. I already hate this. Lastly, Melissa, who wore an elegant blue dress with a necklace, sunglasses, and her hair in a ponytail. This way they won't recognize us. After this, the group leaves the store to go where the tracker indicates. However, look, they are from the O. This made the group shocked and tense. However, seeing what the matter was, they could see that in reality the UA was on the big screen in the city. Now Liv, we have a public apology from the UA school on the screen. You can see Nezu, Aizawa, and Sekijiro Kan, Vlad King, bowing as an apology for what happened. On this occasion, our incompetence resulted in 25 of our freshmen being injured. We were lax in our defense against the villains, and we paid dearly for it. Aizawa said, we sincerely and humbly apologize for our failures. Reporting with NHA. This is the third time their students have had an encounter with villains. Only this time multiple students were injured. Please tell us specifically what action you will take on this matter. Nezu decides to answer. We have strengthened security around the school and have re-examined the campus crime prevention system. We are taking strong measures to ensure the protection of our students. They are not protecting them from anything. What are they saying? The atmosphere around the group of students was getting very tense. All for One hideout. All for One is watching the report while smiling evilly, and that interrupts him. My lord, are you sure about this? AFO turns to see the doctor. That's right. Now that All Might is no longer necessary for my plans, it's better to get rid of him. But you still haven't regained your full power, the doctor said. AFO begins to pass an object between the fingers of his hand. It is the tracker that had been placed in Spinner. Apparently, he has it now, I know. And I am aware that I will not be able to kill him with the power that I now possess, but all I need is to get him to spend the last of the one for all he has. But you will be locked in Tartarus. We need you for the plan, Garaki said. No, what we need is for Tamura to be ready for the transfer. If it wasn't for my conscience, this body would already be dead. That's why I'm even more limited than I should be. This body is not able to withstand all of my current power, even though it lacks a large part of all my true power. That's why I need a better body, and Tamura's is the perfect one. AFO, or rather, Luciman said, my presence is not necessary. Yes, it is. Without you near Tamura, the darkness D-scan will gradually lose its corruption until Tamura is no longer able to use it, and we need the D-scan for the transfer. That is why from now on we will discard Plan A and start working on Plan B, the transfer without the D-scan, Luciman said. That will take me longer than doing it with the D-scan. It will delay your return for several months. It doesn't matter. Once I have the perfect body, I will only need to recover what is mine, my power. The one for all is my power. The idiot who used to control this body, that all for one guy, did the stupidest thing and gave a part of my power to his stupid little brother. Doctor, do you know who it was transferred to? I'm still at it. All I know is that he's a third-year UA student. Good. It's time for you to go. I need you alive so I can transfer my consciousness to Tamura, Luciman said. Don't worry, Lord Luciman. I promise you will soon recover all your power after this. Dr. Garaki leaves in a data portal. After several seconds of silence, Luciman smiles darkly. So, you are here too. It's only 4 of you. Still, it's time for you to finally meet me in person. The group of 4 students finally arrived at the location indicated by the tracker. This is the location marked by the tracker, Melissa said. The villains haven't moved from here all day. Just because the villains are here doesn't mean Bakugo is too, Todoroki said. We have no other clue. This is the best we have, Izuku said. Villains hideout. All the villains are quiet. waiting for something. Bakugo is also surprisingly quiet at that. Shigaraki feels a slight tremor. They are here. Suddenly, a knock on the door catches their attention. Good evening, the pizza you ordered has arrived. However, this does not fool the villains. Suddenly, the wall of the place is destroyed. Smash. All Might and several heroes enter the place. Shigaraki smiles. It's about time you arrived, All Might. But the rescue students. Inside an alley, Melissa and Kirishima climb on the shoulders of Izuku and Todoroki, respectively. They're trying to see what's inside the place. Don't look up, don't look up. Those were Izuku's thoughts, since if he looked up, he could see under Melissa's dress. I don't see anything. What about you, Kirishima? Melissa asked. Kirishima is looking into the building with night vision goggles. Nothing, it seems empty. This is weird. Villains are supposed to be here, Todoroki said. Unless they're not here, in that case this is Izuku said. A trap. The five said in unison. Villains' hideout. The villains were trapped by Kamui Woods and its branches, but to the surprise of the heroes, no villain seems to resist. All Might decides to take advantage of this. Don't worry, young Bakugo. We're here, All Might said. However, Bakugo doesn't reply and keeps looking down. Young Bakugo, what did you do to him? Oh, nothing, he's just tired, Shigaraki said. Tamura Shigaraki, Kurogiri, Chizo Makaguro, Dabai, Himiko Toga, Kenji Hikishi, Atsuhiro Sako, Shuichi Agachi, Jinbu Begawara, you are all under arrest. All Might said. However, Shigaraki began to laugh maniacally. Suddenly, all the villains, including Bakugo, began to melt. Twice's quirk can be very useful in this type of situation, Shigaraki said. Now that Twice is not crazy in the head anymore, I was able to make him clone himself as well in that. Shigaraki turns to see All Might. If you want Bakugo back, you know where to go. He is waiting for you. You know who I'm talking about. After these words, the villains and Bakugo disappear. The whole place explodes. All for one hideout. Some heroes arrived at the place, however. They were surprised to find nothing. Disappointing, there is nothing here. Mount Lady said. Don't worry, Mount Lady. We haven't investigated the entire building yet, Best Jeanist said, and that he opens a door and is surprised by what he sees. Quick, help me, I found the captured student. The hero found a gagged Bakugo. However, the boy seems worried. Calm down, you're safe now, the hero said as he released Bakugo. Once released, Bakugo screams, don't. Idiots, get out of here. It is a trap. Suddenly, a gigantic gust of air destroys the entire place, sending everyone, except Bakugo, flying. With the rescue students. What happened? Todoroki asked. A villain has just appeared. He is different from all that we have seen. Bigger. Apparently he has Bakugo, Melissa explained. Climbing down from Izuku's shoulders. Kirishima does the same suddenly. A gigantic pressure causes the five students to freeze. I was hoping it was All Might that I found here, and that Luciman realizes that everyone is still alive. It seems that my power is lower than I thought. No, it was you who saved them all, he said as he looked at Best Jeanist on the ground. Who is this guy? Kisahima said. I don't know, but I feel something familiar about that guy, Izuku said. Me too, Melissa said. Todoroki and Shinso nodded in agreement. If the four of us feel the same way, that means this guy has some relationship with Digimon. Izuku thought, looking at the villain. With Luciman, they are hiding. They are probably here because of this student, Luciman thought. Now that they are close, he can feel exactly where the four chosen ones are. It's not time to face them yet. I'll let them rescue this boy. His job is done. It won't be long before All Might arrives, Luciman thought. Then he turns to see Best Jeanist. At the moment, Luciman said, and then fired a laser from his hand which went through the hero's stomach. I'm going to have a little fun with you. All for one. Luciman was unable to continue as All Might arrived just then. Luciman caught both of All Might's fists, causing a gust of wind to rise. This time I'm going to stop you forever. Luciman kicks All Might in the stomach, which separates them. At last, you arrive, All Might. All Might looks at his enemy. However, he is surprised to see what he looks like. You look different. Luciman laughs. Let's just say I had a few improvements. It turns out that the villain's appearance is not the same as how All Might remembered him. He's still wearing his suit pants and fancy shoes. However, his top is a black jacket with a white t-shirt, but the most surprising thing is that now All for One has 3 wings. The 2 left wings were black demonic type, and his right wing is white and angelic type. Finally, half of his face seems to have recovered. He now has only one eye, the right one, and several strands of blonde hair. And think of a kind of combination between AFO and Luciman, but with AFO height. No matter how much you've changed, you're still the same scum you used to be, All Might said. Luciman laughs. You're right, I'm a scumbag. But not the kind of scumbag you think. After this, Luciman starts shooting lightning from his hand against All Might. These lightnings are dodged by the hero. I need to make him fight with his full power. In this way you will lose the few embers that remain of the One for All. In that, Luciman turns to see Bakugo. I need to get rid of this human. The lightning stops. I see you're holding back. Is it because of this boy here? What are you planning? All Might asked. Simple. I want you to fight with all your power. For that this boy must go, Luciman said. Do you mean you'll let him go? All Might asked. Sure, I thought about killing him, but what's the fun in just killing him? In addition, he has his own personal escort right. Chosen ones. These words stunned the 4 chosen ones who were listening to the conversation. How does he know that? It was the joint thought of the chosen 4. Chosen ones. What are you talking about? All Might asked. I'm talking about this, Lucimin said, and that she shoots a direct beam at a nearby wall. Once the wall is destroyed and the smoke disappears, the rescue group is seen by everyone. There is one more. I guess Red One is not one of the chosen ones, Lucimin thought. What are they doing here? Are they coming to save young Bakugo? All Might thought. It's time for you to get out of here, Lucimin said at the moment that with a movement of his fingers he made Bakugo fly until he crashed into the wall of the joint building where they were, so that later Bakugo fell next to the rescue group. Bakugo, Kirishima said, so he and Izuku carry Bakugo by his arms. Let's get out of here, Izuku said. However, suddenly everyone stopped moving. It seemed only he, Melissa, Todoroki and Shinso could move. The rest was motionless, as if they were paused in time. Wah. Suddenly, Lucimin appears in front of them. The pressure is so great that they could not move. So, you are the ones chosen by the warriors, you know. I could kill you right now, but I will not. I want you to be complete when I face you. Taking all the courage he has, Izuku manages to speak. Who are you? And how do you know about us? That is not important at the moment. I know you can communicate with the legendary warriors. So you'd better deliver this message. Tell the warriors that I, Lucimin, still alive. After these words, Lucimin returns to his original position when time froze. Now go away. Don't make me change my decision to leave you alive. After these words, time resumed. Let's go, Kirishima said, leading the chosen ones out of the trance. After this, the group of students leave the place. Now that's not a problem anymore. We're going to fight for real. All Might. Lucimin charges at All Might. The hero prepares a punch and both attacks collide, creating a large gust of air. They both start exchanging blows with all their power, each blow making the place shake a little. In one of those, Lucimin manages to hit All Might in the face and knocks him back, after which, Lucimin rises up and fires lightning at All Might. All Might receives the lightning. Enduring the pain, All Might jumps until he reaches Lucimin, after which he decides to attack him with multiple consecutive punches and then finish off with smash. A blow to Lucimin's face, which is quite strong and manages to crash him to the ground, his fist still in the face of his enemy. It seems that you have almost no power left. These words make All Might widen his eyes in surprise. The attack doesn't seem to have affected his enemy in that. Lucimin touches All Might's shoulder. It's time for the world to see your true appearance. Lucimin sends All Might flying with a lightning bolt. All Might crashes some distance away, and when he stands up, his true form is seen by everyone, without exception, since the fight has been broadcast on the news. The group of students has reached the main street of Kamino, far from danger. Look, on the screen, a civilian said. The group looks at the screen and they are shocked by what they witness. Is that Todoroki said? All Might. Kirishima finished. No, that is impossible, Bakugo said. Izuku was going to say something. However, at that moment he remembered a certain conversation that happened on I Island. Melissa, what your father told us on I Island, do you remember? This catches the attention of both Melissa and Shinso, as they were both present at the time. I do it for All Might. You may not know it, but his quirk is disappearing. The memory hits them in the head. So this is what he meant, Shinso said. Uncle Might. It was the only thing Melissa could say. The girl is about to cry. Izuku notices this and takes her by the hand. Melissa turns to see him and Izuku shows her a smile. Don't worry about All Might. I assure you that he could beat him. Without knowing why, Izuku's words managed to comfort Melissa, making her smile slightly. Yes, thank you. Both students turned to the screen. However, they never let go of each other's hands. With All Might and Lucimin. Look at you. You are worse than I imagined, Lucimin said. Now that your secret has been exposed, it's time to finish you off. Lucimin points his hand towards All Might. Lightning begins to generate. However, they suddenly disappear. Lucimin looks at his hand. He can see how it has weakened. Damn body. It can't take much more fighting. I have to make All Might use the last thing he has left in one attack. I have to provoke him. It's true, my body is in this condition, but my heart is still the symbol of peace, All Might said. You are very funny. A speech worthy of a hero. By the way, I don't know if I told you, but did you know that Tamura Shigaraki is Nana Shimura's grandson? After hearing these words, All Might froze. He can't think of anything else. He failed his predecessor. Now, Lucimin charges at All Might, a punch ready. All Might doesn't move. He can't think of anything anymore. However, something catches his attention and snaps him out of his trance. All Might, the hero, turns and sees a civilian among the debris. Please win. These words brought All Might back to reality. Fists collide. All Might returned to his hero form and managed to collide his fist against Lucimin. And if you're wondering how All Might was able to return to his muscular form, remember that he never fought in the USJ and had only recently transferred One for All. Lucimin's face shows surprise. However, his thoughts are different. Yes, use all the power you have left. After a few moments of struggling, All Might punches Lucimin in the face with his other fist. This makes Lucimin back away, at which point Lucimin feels that FO's body is failing to respond properly. This body can't resist any longer. You wanted me to use all my power. Very well. All Might uses all the power he has left on this last attack. Goodbye, all for one. All Might punches Lucimin in the face, United States of Smash. He then slammed Lucimin to the ground, this time creating a gigantic tornado of wind. Goodbye, one for all. When the smoke clears, we can see an All Might in his true form, this time forever, raising his fist in victory. Everyone is silent until he won, a civilian said. After these words, everyone began to celebrate and shout All Might's name. However, no one noticed that Lucimin's smile only grew. Mission accomplished. Unknown place. Shigaraki is seeing everything that happened through some screens. Now what? We lost the boss, Spinner said. On the contrary. This is another victory for us, Shigaraki said. What are you saying? Magni said. Sensei sacrificed himself to eliminate All Might's threat. Now there is no one who can stop us, Shigaraki said. And what about those chosen ones? Spinner asked. Once the plan is complete, not even they can stop us, Shigaraki said with a dark smile. After everything that happened, Lucimin was caught and taken directly to Tartarus. The heroes dedicated themselves to treating the wounded and rescuing people trapped in the rubble. Meanwhile, the rescue group plus Bakugo each returned to their respective homes. Everyone went to sleep. However, the chosen ones still had to talk to some subjects. Digital space. So Lucimin is still alive, Ancient Greymon said. He, along with Ancient Garurumon, Ancient Megatheriumon, and Ancient Kazemon, have just found out from the chosen ones everything that happened. Yes, he himself confirmed it, Izuku said. Damn it, everything we did was for nothing. Ancient Garurumon said. No, he's definitely weaker. But it's kind of frustrating that he's still alive, Ancient Kazemon said. Anything else we should know? Ancient Megatheriumon asked. Only it's thanks to him that Tamura got the corrupted D-scan. But nothing more, Shinzo said. That doesn't matter. Uncle Might defeated him and now he's locked up in Tartarus. He won't be able to do anything anymore, right? Melissa said. No, if there is something to recognize about Lucimin, it is that he is very intelligent. He would never face someone knowing that he is going to lose, Ancient Greymon said. That means his defeat is part of his plan. These words left the chosen ones restless. And what can be his plan? Todoroki asked. We don't know, but it can't be a good thing, Ancient Greymon said. Tartarus prison. Lucimin is in his cell, totally restrained by chains and unable to move. However, his evil smile never disappeared. Ha ha.